the National Health Insurance is doing prompt payment. So, in fact, the allowable period for arrears per the tradition or precedence is 3 months. But as I speak to you now, they pay almost every month. So if there's any outstanding for any service provider, then maybe the service provider hasn't brought their claims. So every month we do payment. And the Minister for Finance has also been very, very cooperative and helpful.
It is good, Honorable Minister, that you say that, because NHIA, there was always an issue about non-payment. So sometimes you go to hospitals, they wouldn't take your card and everything else. All right, that's good. Now let's go to management issues. Let's hold on for a follow-up from Madam Abna Osei-Asare.
Thank you very much. Please, let's go to your financial position. In a year where you claim they reduced your income, the incomes that came to you, we saw your non-current assets moving from 98 million in 2021 to 310 million. So I'm thinking that you're saying that not much was given to you in the form of levies, and then you chose to spend on plants, buildings, and that's, at least that's what the financial position here speaks to. Because in 2021, where you had 2.2 million, you spent just your non-current assets was 98 million, and then in 2022, where you claim your income was reduced, you rather shot up your non-current assets at the expense of what? Claimed payment or what?
Honorable Chair, thank you very much. This was due to the payments made on ongoing projects that we completed in the year.
So it's not like you had money and you were able to use some to complete your project. So it wasn't like the incomes or the levies that came in was not enough, because you even had more to increase your non-current asset by over 200%. So when you are stating your finances, you usually state it in that terms, that because you were here saying that we saw a loss, a deficit, because your levies came down. But your levies came down, but your non-current assets shot up. So you just put your money where what? Your nose was. And I think in explaining, you just have to put that out there also, so that you create a true and fair view of the accounts and proceedings as it's at the National Health Insurance. Thank you very much.
Well noted, Honorable Chair.
Now let's look at the management issues in his own paragraph 723, and Honorable Bauer will take care of that.
Thank you, Chairman. The third infraction relates to non-transfer of funds from SNIT. And the auditors are saying a receivable amount of 564,948,323.34 Ghana cedis was not, could not be traced to any bank accounts of the National Health Insurance Fund as at the time of the audit. And if you go to 725, they are saying that the situation makes it difficult for the authority to meet its objectives as set out in Section 40 of the Act that establishes you, Act 852, and therefore recommended that there should be, management should reconcile with the Controller General and Accountant General to reconcile all the transfers and recover the outstanding amount. Can you walk us through as to whether you've been able to recover this receivable that we are supposed to receive from the SNIT?
Honorable Chair, SSNIT has paid all the amount, and this has been confirmed by the Auditor General's office.
Auditor General, can you confirm?
Honorable Chair, the entire amount has been paid by SSNIT. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I think that should be all. But let me also commend the leadership of the NHI for the human job that we are doing. Now we no longer have the calls from our clients that I've been to the hospital, they are saying my NHI card is not working and I need to go and buy drugs again. So, Dr. Bompa and your team, a part of your back, and then we plead that at least you continue with the good work that you are doing in line with the research agenda of President John Dramani Mahama.
We thank you very much, Honorable Chair.
Minister, this is a public interest question, and Minister, this time you are wrong because it's you don't know what I'm going to ask. My issue has to do with the medicine list, the medicines list. How does a drug get onto it? Do you look at diseases and illness that are common and prevalent in our communities before you put them there? Because 2 days ago, Minister, you came to Parliament to answer a question on the hepatitis B issue. You hardly find it. We know vaccines should be relatively cheaper to buy, but that particular hepatitis B vaccine, prevention vaccine, I think it's around 1,000 or 1,002, but it shouldn't be, and it's because I believe it is not on the list. So I'm asking, how does a drug get onto the medicines list, and there are certain drugs that many Ghanaians feel will have to be on the list and are not on the list? What is the process that we have to go through to get those drugs on the medicines list?
Honorable Chair, this is a very important question. The Ministry of Health sets up a group that considers the current disease trends and the kinds of drugs that must come onto the list. And we are all stakeholders of that group. And that brings up the standard treatment guidelines. And I'm saying it's important because yesterday we had a stakeholders conference where NHIA brought together all the stakeholders. And exactly this same drug vaccine that you're talking about, it came up. So it's one of the things that we're going to be looking at to put on the list.
And Minister, I also want to find, there are certain diseases that are difficult to manage in terms of their medication. Is there a way we can get it on there at subsidized costs so that at least people going through those ailments and diseases can also get some relief?
Before I come to this question, the issue about the hepatitis B that came up on the floor were of two legs. One was about the vaccines, and the other was about the treatment. And so the vaccines, I informed the House that plans are far in advance to include it in the traditional immunization. I informed the House. Then my attention was drawn to the fact that there are some medications that are used for the treatment are not on the National Health Insurance list. And so I assure the House that that will be considered, and then I will make sure we'll put it on the National Health Insurance list. But it must go through a process. It must be convincing. We must establish the need for it and all that. But I think it's a very important issue we need to, consider. Yeah.
Minister, finally, yesterday you held a press conference on the Minister. I told you I'll be asking. So
it didn't disappoint me at all.
Yes, Minister, I told you. I told you I'll be Minister. And for me, my issue has to do with the fact that the contract was for a certain number of networked hospitals or health centers, and you have. Out of the 900 or 950, correct me please, 450 has been done. And per the payments that you claim has been made, the total contract amount was 100 million, 77, did you say 77 or 76 has been paid? And you're saying that it is more than the work that has been done. Minister, have we taken steps to find out from the vendors, one, why they failed to scale it to the amounts that they have been paid? And two, you said now moving forward, we have a new vendor. And so is the new vendor going to clear the outstanding? Or that's the difference of the 450 less the 450 less the 900. That difference, is the vendor going to get them on board, or the vendor is going to start, a new vendor is going to start all over? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. As you recall, I responded to this question on the floor of the House and per the standing orders of the House. Under normal circumstances, I should not be repeating it on this committee. But then, Mr. Chairman, I will take the challenge and give the committee the explanation very well. So I will take the challenge up. Mr. Chairman, we inherited an electronic system that an agreement was signed in 2019. The contract sum was $100 million. They were supposed to connect about 950 health facilities. The contract was supposed to expire 3 years later, so that will come to 2022. At the end of 2022, they had not connected all the 950. Some other reasons were given for the underperformance. Now, the government then extended the contract to expire in 2023. At the end of the 2023, again, not all the 950 facilities had been connected. The government again extended the contract to expire on the 31st December 2024. So something that originally was meant for 3 years has been extended to 5 years. Now, out of the $100 million, about $77 million has been paid. Now, when we came, under normal circumstances, the contract was divided into what we call milestones. So when milestone 1 is completed, it must be given to the state before you even go to milestone 2. And that was what the ministry or government should have insisted on before even allowing the next milestone. And that was not done. And so when we took over, when the contract had expired, so issues of abrogation or termination doesn't arise because there was no contract. It doesn't arise because there was no contract. Now, what we said was that before we take over, we must know what we are inheriting. And so a forensic audit was conducted, and we saw a lot of gaps, especially the hardware. You realize that issues of quantity, issues of quality of materials provided were not up to specification. They quantified that, and that was about $18 million. There were other issues. Again, as part of the third milestone, they were supposed to connect about 157 facilities. And the government paid about 10 point something, almost $11 million. That again shouldn't have been the case, because it's part of the 77, because it is not meant for pre-finance. You execute the contract and you pay, but the government at the time paid. So out of the 157 health facilities that must be connected, only 7 were verified. 7 were verified. And so today, it will interest you to know the immediate past health minister clearly admitted in his post, his write-ups and circulating that the contractor has been overpaid. I'm not saying it. And so when we came, we said, wait a minute. Now there are gaps. I invited him to the ministry to have a conversation with him, because under normal circumstances, we should have access to the data. And Mr. Chairman, in all this, what is very important and sensitive is not even about the gaps or the money issue. It has to do with our data and access to our service. National security is a national security issue. So what we said was that you should have handed over to the state. Now, the state doesn't have access to our data and our service. And so we are ready, because the software doesn't belong to the state. It's its property. And that's another sensitive issue to deal with. And so no problem. We'll sign what we call service maintenance agreement with you for 2 years, so that we will not experience the disruptions we are experiencing at the moment. When we got that, but before we do that, give us access to our data, give us our service. The contractor or the vendor insisted that if we don't take issues of data out of the contract, he was not going to sign. Yes. Mr. Chairman, at this point, let me put my CEO for National Health Insurance on the spot. He was one of the people who led this negotiation. I didn't seek his permission to put his name out. That's why I'm saying I'm putting him on the spot. He was one of the people who led this negotiation. Because at a point in time, I had used all diplomacy, so I had to stay back in the interest of the country. That's why you don't want to know the other tangentials. But I had to stay back to push some of my CEOs. Mr. Chairman, for your information, we were not dealing with a reasonable human being. And so he said we should take that one out. And again, instead of us verifying 450 health facilities, he says, no way, put in 461. Yes, that's why I have cited a witness. He said, we can't do this. In all this, we were engaging him. But what we realized was that the country was virtually begging him and switching the thing on and off because we had no solution. At that point, I had to take a bold and courageous decision to find a solution. And what is the solution? The solution is that the country must own the software. And even if the country was not owning the software, and we had created a middleware, an exchange, where any vendor will plug in, even if any vendor is bluffing, we could have secured our data. We didn't have that. And so, for the past 2 weeks, Mr. Chairman, the whole system has been switched off. And that is why you hear issues of National Health Insurance card were not being verified. Mr. Chairman, you hear issues of we are going back to the paper system and all that. So, Mr. Chairman, what I think is important and Ghanaians must know, and Mr. Chairman, we didn't respond to all these things because we thought that it was not for the ministry or the minister to come and lament. We should have solutions. Mr. Chairman, we had no option than to engage and to have a software that is for the state. So we are working on the software that is for the state, which is now, instead of the LENS, which is the Lightwave Health Information Management System, we are working on Ghana Health Information Management System that the state will own. Now we have put in place the middleware that even if we are inviting more vendors, they will come and plug into the system and that the data will be lodged into it. Now the second leg of your question about the remainder, the 500, because he has not done the 500, and one of the issues why we are where we are is that the system was monopolized. If there were about 4 or 3 or 2 vendors, maybe if he's maybe squeezing our balls at this point, the others may not. And so going forward, the decision is that the 500 left, they are going to open up. But we have to deal with this emergency situation. So what we have done is that we are rolling out the software. We have a 4-week plan. We are doing the piloting. All other agencies are on board. Medical superintendents are on board. CEOs of the various agencies who are interested parties are on board. AG on board. Yoko on board. NITA on board. All other cybersecurity, everybody is on board. Where we have to retrieve what belongs to the state, the appropriate agencies will deal with that. For now, the ministry's target, aim, is to look at how we can get out of this mess, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Minister, you see the platform I gave initially, you were reluctant to respond. But you see, this platform is for free. You are not paying any money. You are not paying for any item 13 because, I mean, it is here and we are taking care of all that. Yes.
You know you are
No,
and I'm Kwabena. You are and I'm Kwabena.
Minister, there's one thing you mentioned that the minister said, the former minister said, the vendor has been overpaid, and it's in. I
have a write-up. Seth, if you are here and you are listening to me, please give me my file. Mr. Chairman, today I woke up to a response from the immediate past minister.
Okay.
And Seth, are you here? I woke up to a response from the immediate past. And if anything at all, you should be keeping quiet. It's not in his interest to be talking because he overpaid the contractor.
Minister, respectfully, if you can go straight.
So yes. I read.
Yes, because he's not here. Yes,
this is one of the things he said. He said that payment have been 62% from the Ministry of Finance and 68% from the National Health Insurance Authority, totaling 76.99 million paid. So he has admitted that about 77 has been paid. And $23 million outstanding. Now hear this. As of December 2024, reconciliation showed an unutilized advance of 10.6 million yet to be expended by the vendor. And he is the one who paid this. Why should you be talking?
So, Minister, well, this does not translate into the person being overpaid. I thought you said the person put it out there that he said an advance has been given, but it hasn't been utilized.
No, Mr. Chairman,
yes.
This is not a prepayment procedure. So you pay as and when you have executed the job. So if you are paid more than the work you have done, you have been overpaid.
And you said the minister said that.
Yes, yes.
For me, that is what I want to establish. The former minister
said the impression should not be created
as though has been overpaid.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So the impression should not be created as though saying this doesn't mean overpayment. That's number one. That impression should not be created. And then maybe you should come out to say he didn't write this, but this is what he has written.
Since this has come up at a Public Accounts Committee meeting, which is live everywhere, Minister, if you could give us a copy of that so that it will be part of our files. The minister's a copy, yeah, the document that you read from.
No problem. I can staple them together.
You give us a copy.
It's been titled. What is the title?
That will be in our files. You can get it later and give it to our clerk.
Okay, so it's been titled "The Limbs Controversy: A Case of Giving the Dog a Bad Name to Hang It."
Yes.
Title.
So when we get a copy.
No problem. No
okay.
Problem. Yeah.
And it's signed by.
No, I didn't say it's signed. I said this is what he has put out there.
And is it in the name of them? You know, you mentioned that it's in the name of the immediate past minister. That's why.
Yes. So
it has that indication on the document.
Yes, it has that indication on there. It says a former Minister for Health, Dr. Okoboy writes.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
And it's all over social media. I mean, Ghanaians listening to me. No,
well, I haven't seen it, but we'll be happy to have a copy of it.
You are the only person who have not seen it. You are the only person who have not seen it.
Minister, I beg your pardon. That is not the case. I'm sure there are quite a number of us here who haven't seen it. But I'll be happy to have a look at it, and then we can take that.
Minister.
No, I mean, I haven't seen it.
Minister, thank you for the explanation. Honorable Kwabena Akando, thank you for the explanation. And as you rightly pointed out, you saw this thing on the internet. It could be the case that it wasn't written by the immediate past minister. So I will plead that we will disregard that until we can authenticate that it's coming from the immediate past minister. Number two.
Honorable member, that's why I said we need a copy to be on our files.
Yeah, I wanted to place emphasis on it for everybody to know that it's just, he saw it, Okoboy right?
Mr.
It
Chairman,
could be anybody's.
I said so. I didn't hide it from the committee.
Yes.
It's exactly what I said.
So that was it is very good. But my point is that you shouldn't have made another comment on that. We heard you.
Mr. Chairman, you know. You
no, we heard you. No, we heard you right. So
yes.
For you to have said you shouldn't have done it. You went extra mile to have said that you shouldn't have done it.
Mr. Chairman,
meaning that if
I don't intend this banter.
No. I
put it on record that I was not even going to.
Okay, Minister, that's fine.
So, yes,
that's
yes,
fine.
Yes.
You said what you said. Ghanaians are listening, so we heard what you said. So let's move on. So let's move on, please. The second one is you said you've gotten another contractor to continue the project. Did I hear you right, please?
Mr. Chairman, unfortunately, I didn't expect this. If I was going to do this, probably you would have informed me in advance to bring the necessary documentations, and I thought that I was going to take the opportunity to explain to you what really has happened. So, Mr. Chairman, I with a great respect, where I've gotten to, if you indulge me, I think we will leave it here.
Yes.
No, you don't have a contractor or no?
Honorable Minister. No, it's a question you can answer. You ask him if he has another contractor or not,
yes,
right?
On the project.
On the project.
Yes. I'm heard him saying something like,
we've got
another, Mr. Chairman, you've gotten some Ghana, something. Unless you want to retract whatever he said, then I will also take my question back.
You've asked him a question.
Yeah, he hasn't answered.
Okay, he will answer.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if you need any better and detailed particulars on this matter, I can assure you, you can invite me at any time and I'll appear.
Thank you. So that's his answer.
Chairman, sorry, please. Is it the case that he's retracting whatever he said?
No. This is live. We all know it. He says if you want better and further particulars on the contractor or whatever is going on, he's ready to give it to us.
Thank you very much. The reason why I asked this question is the fact that he, please, Honorable Akando, please, I know. He spoke about the fact that the contract, the first one, wasn't done properly, if you like, among other things. So I wanted to make sure that this one is entered into was done the proper way, so that we will not go back to the same problem again.
That wouldn't be for Public Accounts Committee to find out whether he did it right or wrong. What we are asking for, no. He said, the minister said, if we want further information on it, he will provide it. And after he's provided that, then we'll see whether he did it right or wrong. Isn't that so? All right, Honorable Gapen.
1 minute. Mr. Chairman, Minister, Mr. Rankin is here saying after what we will ask for you to provide, but it's just a word of caution that, as you said, you needed to get a vendor to bring about solutions to the issues you were facing. Please take note that it's today, it's immediate, you needed to do something. When COVID came in 2020, we needed to do something quickly. At that time, everybody saw the urgency, the need to sort of cut short some steps and then get to solutions. Today, it may be the same thing, but I'm only urging you to be very cautious, because today we understand we are in it. We need that data, because what is the use if you can't have your previous history when a doctor needs to take care of you? But tomorrow, after the problem or the solution has been found, nobody will remember that it was urgent, and so you needed to do some things to cut short certain processes in the procurement chain. So this is just an advice to you, because I have seen some before. In the COVID era, we needed to cut short certain steps to provide needed essentials to our citizens. So, and it's the same, it's a similar thing, because I can imagine patients going to the hospital without their history, and it will be frustrating to them and even to the doctors who are taking care of them. So this is just a cautious message to you, that in you coming out with processes and solutions, to solve this particular problem, let's look at the processes so that 1-2 years later, you don't have to appear here saying that you being cited for a breach in the procurement process or
all the way through 2022. However, in the first half of 2023, SML was made to confront reality. It changed its tone in its audit reports as a result of design unsuitability problems discovered in respect of its meters, and that corrective measures were required for accurate readings. The language in its June 2023 audit report was subdued. It declared that the volumes declared in ICAMS tallied with that recorded by SML. From August 2023 running into 2025, its language became contrite and restitutive. As now, the ICAMS volumes began outstripping SML's readings. Members of the media, the OSP investigation shows that SML's meters were Honeywell VersaFlow TWS 9000W multipath ultrasonic flow meters. And according to the Ghana Standards Authority, which is the custodian of weights and measures, these meters are attractive for measurement in the oil and gas industry because of their non-intrusive clamp-on installation, which does not require welding or cutting, and that the use of these meters ensures high accuracy as opposed to single-path ultrasonic flow meters. However, on SML's own showing from its audit reports from August 2023, added to an operational shortfall of not having fixed meters in at least 5 depots, its metering system was encountering substantial physical and operational challenges in a good number of the depots, resulting in inability of measurements tabled as follows. 1. SML's meters were unable to measure residual fuel oil because the temperature and fluid viscosity were too high for clamping and performance of ultrasonic flow meters. 2. SML did not measure volumes at depots that load products at atmospheric pressure using natural gravity because ultrasonic flow meters are unsuitable for work in such conditions. 3. SML did not measure volumes at depots where flows of petroleum products go through underground pipelines, since it was physically impossible to clamp the meters on underground pipelines. To address some of these concerns, SML perennially expressed the intention of installing an automatic tank gauging system. It fixed 8 out of 29 depots. The OSP investigation also discovered that the high discrepancy in readings that SML kept reporting from June 2020 through December 2022 was largely due to SML's meters reading vibrations and sounds from trucks as they discharge petroleum products at night. Further, the meters sometimes recorded pressurized water used in washing the pipes and driving products through the pipes. The OSP investigation shows that the public official promoters, sponsors, and patrons of SML were fully aware of the acute shortfall of SML service in the downstream petroleum sector, yet they persisted in their patronage by permitting it to operate and religiously authorizing payments to it while they remained in a lethargic state of willful blindness. This could only have been for their private benefit. Indeed, as recently as January 2025, SML was exhibiting inability of comprehending the loading process through ERDMS and ICAMS. This was evidenced in a letter dated 17 January 2025 by the head of petroleum operations at GRA addressed to the managing director of SML. In respect of the upstream petroleum and minerals audit, it didn't take off as a result of the presidential directive for suspension and as a result of the OSP investigation. A central issue arising from the automatic payments by GRA to SML in respect of downstream petroleum audit is that GRA, the Central Tax Authority, failed to deduct statutory taxes totaling 13,380,000 cedis. GRA subsequently in July 2024 offset this tax component. However, the penal component of 18,800,000 cedis remain outstanding. In addition, there is an outstanding pay-as-you-earn tax liability of 346,967 cedis, 53 pesos. Now I'm coming to an end. The KPMG audit and the OSP investigation. We recall that while OSP's preliminary findings accorded with the major factual findings in the KPMG report, The OSP found itself unable to agree with some major conclusions drawn by KPMG, especially in respect of accountability and value for money. This is because the OSP investigation shows that the KPMG report was placatory in material respects, as it sought to beatify SML by ignoring the fact that it did not possess independent reconciliation algorithms and audit tools, and that it was plying its purported trade alongside ICAMS and ERDMS without adding any real value to the products of these established processes. Indeed, the causal relationship KPMG sought to draw between improvements in the downstream petroleum audit sector and SML services was non-existent. The OSP agrees with KPMG on its conclusion that there was no specifically commissioned and purpose needs assessment reports. However, KPMG's narrative on contracting methodology did not quite examine SML's incapacity at inception. In respect of transaction audit and external price verification services, KPMG concluded that SML delivered partially and that GRA may not have obtained all the expected benefits from the services. KPMG based this conclusion on its observation that SML submitted some of the expected reports and that in respect of some, it sources data from wrong documents. However, the OSP found no verifiable evidence of the said reports in GRA's records or in the records of SML as having been transmitted to PCA and CTSB for verification. Further, the PCA unit confirmed during the OSP investigation that no such report came to its attention. Then again, there was no critical examination as to the substantive quality and validity of the said reports referred to by KPMG. Indeed, KPMG's own officials who attended the OSP during the investigation failed to substantiate the claim of partial delivery when they were questioned by OSP officials. They could not provide any documentary evidence to show up their own claims. Then there is the payment methodology which tells a different story, which is that GRA was paying SML automatically without the submission by SML of a single invoice backed by verified reports. In respect of measurement audit for downstream petroleum, KPMG concluded that there was reported incremental volume that is attributable to the involvement of SML determined at 1.70 billion liters for the period, which translates to incremental revenue of 2.5 billion cedis attributable to the involvement of SML. The OSP firmly disagrees with this conclusion by KPMG. Indeed, the OSP investigation shows that KPMG relied heavily on trend analysis of petroleum lifting volumes between 2018 and 2013, and not so much on the actual work done by SML, and without much consideration of the impact of the concurrent implementation of ERDMS and ICAMS during that period. These systemic upgrades surely accounted for much more accountability and records of lifting volumes. KPMG later contradicted itself in its own report by acknowledging that revenue growth in this period resulted from macroeconomic factors such as pricing and demand and regulatory enforcement and increased taxes. In any case, the OSP investigation shows that SML's participation in downstream petroleum audit was unnecessary and that its monthly audit reports were unreliable. As I stated, its metering system was unsuitable for the design of the pipes and operational modes at several depots. Post-KPMG audit. Following the KPMG audit, MOF, GRA, and SML acted on the KPMG recommendation of the consideration of shifting from a variable to a fixed fee structure in respect of downstream petroleum products audit. So by a memorandum of understanding signed on 1 November 2024, they changed the variable fee mechanism to a monthly fixed fee of 22,629,204 cedis 95 pesos, being they stated equivalent of 1,432,228 United States dollars 16 cents, inclusive of all taxes at the prevailing Bank of Ghana exchange rate which operated on 1st October 2024. In our estimation, the city version of the stated fixed monthly fee in the 1 November 2024 addendum is unnecessarily deceptive, as the party's real intention as captured in clause 13 of the MOU itself is a monthly fee of the stated figure in United States dollars. GRA has not paid SML since December 2024 as a result of the OSP investigation. And ladies and gentlemen of the press, action in respect of key actors. The outcome of the investigation is that the OSP will charge the following persons with various corruption and corruption-related offenses before the end of November 2025. 1. Kenneth Nanayao Oforiatta, former Minister of Finance. 2. Ernest Akori, chef de cabinet to Kenneth Nanayao Oforiatta as Minister of Finance. 3. Emmanuel Kofinti, former Commissioner General of Ghana Revenue Authority. 4. Amishadai Owusu-Amoah, former Commissioner General of Ghana Revenue Authority. 5. Isaac Krenzel, former Commissioner of the Customs Division of Ghana Revenue Authority and General Manager of Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited. 6. Kwejo Damwa, former Commissioner of the Customs Division of Ghana Revenue Authority and Member of Parliament for Jam and South constituency. As part of the process, the OSP will seek to recover the financial loss caused to the Republic from the persons listed above. Also, the OSP will recover a total amount of 125 million cedis from SML by way of a disgorgement of unjust enrichment of overpayment by the return of the benefit of this amount it obtained unfairly at the expense of the Republic. This amount was arrived on 2 considerations. First, the participation of SML in the public revenue assurance regime was based on largely undeserved automatic payments detached from performance. Second, the figure was adjusted on a quantum meru basis. This is a legal doctrine that developed the English common law as a form of implied contract or quasi-contract to ensure that the person who conferred a benefit on another received compensation, even when no valid contract existed. The courts introduced the doctrine as an equitable remedy to prevent unjust enrichment, recognizing that fairness sometimes required payment even without an enforceable agreement. In the present context, the OSP configured the doctrine in respect of adjusting the fair value of the investments made by SML in pursuance of performing its obligations under the various contracts, even where the contracts were procured unlawfully and even where services were minimally performed or not performed at all, on the back of SML's reasonable expectations created under the various contracts which were awarded to it by high-ranking public officials who represented ostensible authority and statutory and regulatory compliance to that private company. The investments include the setting up and maintenance of 2 offices by SML, one in Accra and the other in Tema, the hiring of employees, the payment of employees' salaries. Then, the basis of the supposed comparison was a collection of appearing acts of noteworthy utility. And even now, some officers of GRA are issuing letters and statements along the lines of the pretense that this has been worthwhile for the nation. Such statements are feeble attempts at face saving, and they do not operate to extinguish the criminal culpability of the public official promoters, sponsors, and patrons of SML. However, there is much wisdom and force in the institution of real revenue assurance, as it involves the identification, prevention, and correction of revenue leakages, thereby enhancing the public purse. In the estimation of the OSP, GRA did right by finally terminating the transaction audit and price and external price verification aspects of SML's engagement in November 2024. The OSP recommends that that termination should be made to lie where it fell, as SML showed a classless non-performance of the service it was unlawfully engaged to perform in the sector. Further, the OSP can neither choose nor recommend contractual partners for public institutions. Therefore, If in the estimation of MOF and GRA, they are desirous of retaining SML in other areas of revenue assurance, then critical needs assessment should be performed, and the ministry and its regulatory agency must ensure that all statutory and regulatory prior approvals and licenses are obtained, and further, that contractual obligations are mounted on expertise, experience, and capability based on responsible value for money verification and monitoring constructs. The OSP highly commends Evans Eziamo Mensah, Ajwa Adubia Owusu, and Manase Azuri Awuni. We are very grateful for your service. Ghanaians, thank you. Extradition matters. It would occur to you in my submission that the main suspect in respect of the concluded SML investigations is the former finance minister, or a former finance minister, Kenneth Nana-Yaw Ofori-Atta. We recall that in February, the OSP declared him a fugitive from justice and placed him on our list of wanted persons. The OSP drew a lot of flack that we were going after a very sick person. But our intel told us, and we very well knew, and we kept insisting and telling Ghanaians that he just did not want to come into the country voluntarily to answer to these charges. We did not relent, even in the face of the negativity. We went ahead. When we relaxed, placing him on the list of wanted persons on representations that he may show up at a certain time, some members of the public took it as weakness in us. Although what we were doing was that if a person says that they are so ill that they cannot show up, you grant them that regard for them to heal before they come in. But on his own stated date, he failed to show up, whereupon we placed him back on the list of wanted persons. Then we drew more negative flack that we were talking too much. But all that time, we knew exactly what we were doing because our intelligence was solid, that this person just didn't want to come to the country voluntarily. By March of 2025, we had collected all the evidence that we needed to aid in the prosecution of this matter. However, two things were outstanding. One, we needed official verification of a lot of the items that we had intercepted, especially in respect of communication. And this required the input of our major foreign partners. Indeed, the packet arrived on Monday in validation of what we had way back in March. Then, early June, I think it was 10 June, we carried out further searches and seizures at two offices of SML, one in Accra in Osu and one in Tema. And there we retrieved computer servers and hard drives that had to be subjected to forensic examination. This work is not done overnight. And it is upon this reason that we informed the Attorney General when we kick-started the extradition process that the dockets had not been bound up yet because we were waiting for something. At the OSP, we do not talk lightly. We knew what we were waiting for, and we have them fully now. We have uncovered all that is contained on the computer servers and the hard drives. And now on Monday, with the gracious assistance of our major foreign partner, we have the validation of the evidence that we had way back in March 2013. So, on 2nd June 2020, we triggered the extradition request because by March, as we said, we had all the evidence we needed. We only needed official validation of them. And that is why we triggered the extradition request on 2nd June 2020 through the Chief of Staff. The past few weeks, we are once again drawing negative flag that we who put him on our list of wanted persons, that the OSP that declared him wanted, that the OSP that declared him a fugitive from justice, that the OSP that went to Interpol in record time of 48 hours and placed him on Interpol's red notice, we were stalling the case and that we were wasting time. But once again, as I said, we knew what we were doing and we knew what we were waiting for. And last week when the Attorney General addressed the media, he said something very poignant. He said, these financial investigations require time and patience. And we ask, give us that regard of time and patience, we will deliver the results we wanted like this. And as I said, before the expiration of November 2025, we will charge all these persons that I listed before the criminal court. We will not stultify our own investigations. We will not delay our own investigations. We will do it right. We will be patient. We will be meticulous. We would have all the expertise in the world examine all, because we only have one shot at these criminal cases. We cannot go back, forth with it. And so, I announce to you, as we did by way of our press statement last week, that we are in full collaboration with the Attorney General's department. We cannot work against each other. We are working for the same cause, which is the cause of the Republic of Ghana. And we cannot be at loggerheads. We cannot be in dispute. But sometimes personalities and how one wants to do something may clash a bit, but that should not be taken as dispute or disagreement. Many of you do not know my relationship with the Attorney General. He is like a big brother to me. He taught me at Legon, and he also was part of my training. Indeed, we formed the firm together. And indeed, I was like his foreman even when he was putting up his first building in Accra. This is our relationship. The relationship is such that because he trained me and he taught me, I have a bit of him in me. He doesn't have a bit of me in him. And so sometimes my display of his bit in me stirs him up a bit. But at the end of the day, just as we were doing in private practice, we will bicker at home. But our product, when we finally churn it out, will be most robust and most fruitful. And this is our promise to Ghana. So we are working together. We cannot but work together. And we are going to work together in full collaboration, see to the end of this matter. Semu asembisa eye, muni asembisa swa eye pa was my bread. I knew he would go because today Elton is not here, so he will go.
TVXYZ so baby awa wo hwe me bia wo so awutie power 97.9 FM me mo kwaba edeba Thursday edition of Inside Politics Jumedi so running from now I can see 5:55 p.m. and to baby awo bia no kai said the biggest social political show is born ayede bro Sandre diami this year Nicholas ya Owusu Olsen wo betumi Afro Nicholas wo the chief driver and account ho na we kome kra me mo ha wie e bi me fa na ase kese ma o twedi ampo nyankopon na yemfa ne na ase ne na ye no tonton yemfa ma no bi se mo wa ye ne bradwe ne ntiase so o se abrabo ne de 10% ba kwan obefa so a obe face abrabo no ene na 90% enti adiete no em se kasamfoyina na ye hwesisi a OSP owura Kisi Ejaben eno na no de ensem de tudwa no OSP Kisi Ejaben to me disclose say thousands of digital files and communication among key persons involved in strategic mobilization limited because on a friend SML scandal and some nande with me account and same bebreno no just say investigation now uncover thousands of digital files communication between key actors omo sajumedimu ebiomodi to just a Ken Ofori-Atta was chief patron supporter and promoter of the SML deal enti also waka ho asem ebiom or say over 1.4 billion Ghana cedis was paid to SML without proper monitoring and evaluation also honsem or the to edwapa papa waka ho ensem bebre nankasa ebiom or say SML agreement was influenced by self-serving official patronage and sana sponsorship and promotions based on false and unverified claims and also yasema OSP no or the two ja wo ensemi ho bi also bio or say there was no genuine need for contracting SML for the obligation it was to perform the duty and also mo yenti say SML 7 or dia tudwa owura Ken Ofori-Atta kwan of fast situation eskebi no emu nsem ni bebre na nande OSP owura Kisi Ejaben or dia tudwa no wie ne na or the tudwa e kire say attorney general oni ni asembia oyobi a wasum ni yi papa ye ka training kra na ojifi Dr. Dominic Ayeni ho enti bibia ni ho a bibia menteme ho ase bia yewe no kra no ni suban bebre ho a osua fi papa no ho enti osua fi papa no ho no ode ono ka ho a papa no hu se bebe wa peki niam ba ku mi bi ho a efe bi ho de anhwe obese ne na asemo no ka no nti ya na ama attorney general asusuro kakra and some nan ka say be papa ma boebe mu say His Excellency John Dramani Mahama kopie mo France na okọ France na dia na waka the atudwa say Ghana leads Africa in a global fight against a fake news ho wo hwem fo yi na ededa so a wa chrem nsem bebre nankasa na no so ye beka ho asem okopie mu wo France no kopie mu koshia French president a friend Macron onini didi enkomo bebre nankasa mbrepem no ye be cheche nsem no wo so hu abra His Excellency John Dramani Mahama okoyo koshia French president Emmanuel Macron omo held extensive bilateral talks omo didi enkomo pa concerning security cooperation, economic development, regional stability on sidelines of 2025 Paris Peace Forum. Enti His Excellency John Dramani Mahama kopiem wo obi man show of France Paris Peace Forum no once 2025 eno na ye beka ho ense bebre dankasa nti ye kwado fi se ahana Ghana kasa ahana Ghana ti mekọ su na be kasa mfoyin ma osu hu ma eko embre kwa ye nti ense embre ye beko na ye ne ye nuanom Victory Garlic Mixture fama na mfenchiro mu edrona Victory Garlic Mixture ni since 2019 am sha say menum edro bi na we ni yanyare ansa wonoma eboa ye papa po yare unyare o be kaya time COVID by we anana menom because e busi mi immune system no na ekutia yare nti me pa cha okodwa man so akase ope Victory Garlic Mixture duro kama pa ebetumi abo na bibia etumi konkan ma me fanchi akase emfema Apostle Bright Echo emia Apostle Bright Echo mbia Good News Chapel Assemblies of God East Legon Hills Apostle ma bright ekombia ono no dano maybe nchi asofo maame ana safo maame Lauricia mo fenchemi asafo maame Lauricia eyembia before prophetess ma ene papa ne ebusuani na michechi amo mo mpaibo na yede te hei nti akese nkomo mu na nim se wie mo hwe ti ma minti amo pa ya sembre yebeko Victory Garlic Mixture so ina minua wa ha ode nkomo honhom de do no de abre since 2019 na menomi covid time ni na menombia ebo am yi papa wo hwe TV screens na se omo number na da ho no papa ni bechim you assume nyabotre tino TV echi utie radio so at 97.9 na tie nkomo de man semadupe echi mesaba na nsemo ho a yebe delve into it na edi ho nkomo me ba sesia akwaba
ni
aboko de
obada nyansa bo
boye nkomo
eneso yawada obada nyansa bo akwa roche nkunya nkopon adawmenti menumie no enkwa adaso etiase na yawada se na medin kan no otiase metiase edu sampempenso we a yenso ya femu de ebetimi ayaboa omane kanko ne nimpunto ne se bere se odasani bia betimi nya apomodere mapa mepacho ye kwadawa ntimi anko bia yade empanyifo ese obi benya wo a na efi yade musa ho se wani mienu ho no ma wo ade kra na da sen wankasa wutumi koba no kra no se netie na obetena ho ma yade abeji udi pedo na boso na ma wuntimi nkona wuntimi ma hwan na be se nso dia ma wo hwan na be kwama mo nya bia die enu nti yedu apomode enkomo ho a ma me papa onua ba ma se edu apomode enkomo kwa de ye ka anything about health eya menyi wa fidie no enfemfiri ha ene wie wudum se ya da bia ya kasafi Victory Garlic Mixture aso eye Victory Garlic Mixture edon waso abadwama nso efije dunia chire eboa aso adasa pomodini asene de dwumedi awuro ni de bebre mecho enoma eyeboa adasa ebro adwene entiase so na neno mema wehunu nyama wudo bia etimi eye edebo se de be ya wonso obetimi akoba bia to ado bia wude oduru aso pe Victory Garlic Mixture okoni yesi garlic mixture we pedi akache ni parse debi wo de dia wo hwe Victory Garlic Mixture penifo se batekeria doso njene no yedimu kre papa na so kre papa no Victory Garlic Mixture edro no se na tie sei ena ho fe so mu esi atie ntino wo fie betimi atwa e de ato o phone no eso ana betimi ase dia box no ana sa ho fe suo no esi etie ma me no ni nkomo na me nche onyama ba ko mienu miensa bia sa droway pa de boa adasa edi kan ye hya se mfiri obi a wo hono mu a na se wo nase atatai wo abo se unsa ayo titiriti obada be so bia na wonsa ayo titiriti ana se na wotwini mu oda sorry na wonsa ayo titiriti mame papa onua bema stroke me kire andua de ya de bone pa ebetro oda seni so a ne kun kuna se wan pantem a na stroke ebetna wo so a mesrem ya de ba ko a ne koye kona papa stroke ebetim betra da seni so a wan kan tintim na Yankopon amamu a undimi nse ya ye da na ne sad wa ko wom ene ya se entwen stroke ansa wa pedro Victory Garlic Mixture echira kwan ene nti wa wonsa eyo titiriti wo hono ma wonsa wonasi atata empabwa so kra na ewo a wonti unia baabi di hu nkomo akirem unia baabi so di hu nkomo akirem bema bi di hu nkomo akirem obabi ka chose maame ana wafa sibi na ka akirem o maame bi unia bema bi osimini abai wana mensa ayem titiriti se me nanti chepe na se me nasi atata empabwa kra se me na ewo menti me pacho me srem uyo obi abeda be so na se wonsa ayo titiriti uyo obi a obeda be so ni biada na wonsa ayo titiriti amesraw stroke yade na egbo nka ya mekire endojo yade obi wo hono mu ase okasa na enzisu yie wo abasa wano echia obi wo hono ma se mani ba ku etunu woso saa mesram saa nya me ka nyina ya signs and symptoms wa one pentman ko pe Victory Garlic Mixture ibia nshasha no mu adan kwa babi ahwana stroke ede ne ho ababagin enu nti wo obi a wana wonsa otitiriti wo hono ma ase onantia na wenusu ebriu de bia na wenusu ayokusu de bia da wenusu echin hono mu na se ni pedua no asa ye boho wo mu na se onantia asa wona etoto kakra wo kasa enzisu ye papa wana se wano ase echia wani kosue etimi woso saa mesrem ma me papa onua ba ma mesem prevention is better than cure and twema ne nyansa na waka se mi hu nyanka edro we ni edro natural medicine ya bibre moduro ya de garlic ani nua ni nua bra akani nyina de sie de natural medicine Dr. Mwakon atrase asante mantem ne yewo ya ye edro waso ya de jara sankwa mesrem edro we wo sase wo no mpe won sana yo tititinu ebejai won nasi atata empagwa na sewa ewura wontinum afi ebewa wati esane se moja bediefu sani woni peduanum na aboa wo so pomoden esipi na esita esane se ekitenwani nwa wodua eboa ema moja timi diefu sani woni peduanum obu ma moja no atafa akon enu ntinu moya ne ntimi empompi ye nkwa akoma no ho enu ntina won sa otititi ose ananse na ache me bata me srew ananse onchewe obu o se me nana ye metititi no ebia na bibi na ye me srew uyo obi so wo diabetes uyo obi a wo diabetes ana wo high blood pressure me say BP ma me papa onua ba ma sanya no be na mabodin edi nipa ekọ wuo mu a eburu adwene entiase so eye da bia me ka che ose enyare obi wo hono mu a me mpese me bodin kra o manu da is as a victory garlic mission wade eye no eburu adwen ene entiase so wo diabetes tie me uyo obi a wo diabetes se won hwe na wan treat mana nkoyi a se ade bia sharp object eti upe na se emoni di komu a ye betimi atwa wona e de free so ma me papa onua ba bisa ho se wona mienu wo so kra wo koba no ne koda asem ne ye betwa wona ba ko de free so afi na asarabon ne koto obi so enna me kira se entra ma diabetes no enhye wo so high blood pressure BP na wanu minu anuma enkono we hia and the victory garlic mixture wanuma ehia aduro nya mu gidie anum binom ene wo de aseda emotwedi ampobasa ye adom nyame se ne wo mu hia victory garlic mixture no enuamna enuahini ene garlic ayedi aye no abo papa obi ho no ma wose memo high blood pressure manu minu anuma enko o hia victory garlic mixture no wono so e de aseda eni kabia e de ma otwedi amposa ni nimdie so nkokra edema Dr. Mwakon ade timu abobeu efana pomodire ho dia papa no wa be papa ene ti victory garlic mixture no me kire adesu ye ko ho a eya abebu adwene entiase so se wo fa do victory garlic mixture me sram o pressure na atena wo so a kye ebeba form wo diabetes no a wonu menu anuma enko no me se wo so obedi adanse san se edro we kita magnesium phosphorus and potassium menno miensa mabodi we enya de be yakokra fi baabi eye enuane nuo eye enu a obo ade nyansabo akwa e de ase enuane mu na koni padwani mu amesrew obi pele be ba form diabetes no wo be de ho na wo so nya pomodin mapa etimi aya adwuma na opesika e de egu ubotom yemra menuanom emma no so menua baabi e hweme o menses no emaye tie me we menua baabi wo menses emaye eba na anu nansa na atwa na wode bɔ ne ho safo hene uyo obi a uyo oba o menses emaye ade ba ko oba esese wadwene nkoso pa eye wo menses no onyankopo nyansabu akɔ adwene mu wo ye ma se o menses emanfi enenum kosi enensom me kire 5 to 7 days and until uyo oba o menses no eba 2 days atese oha kakra oho eba 3 days or how ewo one pentama mpa victory garlic mixture doni bi ansha sesa wo no mu a efina ka ni pedwan mu down kama bunya fibroid na fibroid no ebra ye operation no wan hwa na wa wodie no so akoto chima mesrew ene obi abeso wo bato na nan so na ni gie eno nti mesrew wo obi a wo menses emaye wo yo ba wo menses emaye unia baby di nkoma achose ni menses emaye ka kire ne se sisia ontwem foni we victory garlic mixture ko pe do obi echa no kwan obi bia wono medro we bia ne menses emaye ne wono so de aseda wo mpema siedu e de moda sani ene onyankopon se wabo na sa kwan no eso wo obi a wonya menstrual pain wo dia o menses ne ba eya we di echi na wo bobena obi bia wo mpotam nyina hu se de bia o menses na ba mame papa unia babi eno house awo how fem obabi na fa sa how ni mu the menses ba eya we di echi no ebu adwen ene entiase so wono ma enime from esuapon awu do metima dia adanse se asema mike enye botimuka one ma be dia dro bia ma wo mefa menstrual pain ho de one mo make ebobon sem e de atseda no atrani mo bia hu se edro wo menstrual pain and a menstrual disorder pedro victory garlic mixture na so sha ononom na emwa sa kwan no eso yemra obi wo hono ma na fu ay kese bebre ene nti no enkofo se wonye mesrew enya nyinsa na wafa wafu na ay kese bebre ebi hono ma na eye gas anase ebi hono ma eye fat ena woni pedwam mesrew onum victory garlic mixture o sha sha ononom a wo se wafu e betwea ba gas na wo mu no ni nyina e be film fat na ageni pedwani mu achama efu na ekutu de bia se nkwa wa wonyem enso kofo se wonyem emma ne mema nyina unsaka do victory garlic mixture edoni ni victory garlic mixture sha siasa wonum se do we onum amesraw wafu na kese ebetwea ba normal na wonso wehunu se je waduro ene wadrankasa we natural medicine garlic no ya mfansi jaso atwetwe mu nwa ne no e de aka nwa bra nwa hini ye natural medicine me se opa pomodin mapa the natural way of treatment on second do we bia wo de nase ni kabia de bemaye na wonso yeso agye samba se yeso ya boa se de bia wa pomodin ebesipi na esita yemra obi a ose oho na meni padwam ehyehyeme obi wo ose meni abema de biara dana meni padwam ehyehyeme meda menna asi ya soja edegu meni padwam ma me papa onua bema obi bia nso jangu ni padwam na emom no onyankopon ye ni padua no ebra wunyi no ni padua na kwa ni bi wo hono ma na ho odin eba fom se eba fom a reactions a obenya bi ni se ho na ni padua no mu ehyehyew mesrew se wo ni padua mu ehyehyew me kire inflammation na ehawa wodie nyina na se po bia to ado bia okwa also per victory garlic mixture your numbers no egu screen no eso message so 0242 54 5633 uyo bia woni padua mu ehyehyw that's na etutu untimi na pedro victory garlic mixture woni padua mu ehyehyw etutu ni nyina da odi ni nyina da ebebewe na so de aseda e de ama otwedi ambobasa ya dom nyame se wono nso etimi nimdie afa Dr. Mwakun so de abama ene enipa wudo edi adanse efa victory garlic mixture eho woni padua no mu ehyehyw ebeko yemra obi a wose ye wona me padua mu mintim atwetweme obi wo hono mu a otina ewiasu na ye adwuma obi wo hono ye agya ho adwuma de bia da na nintim atwetwe no mo se nintim sisi ye atwe ne se wi na ne nan kokomudi atwe no de bia da na wo fa painkiller yi enenum an se wonom tie mem painkillers awodo na wo fa no ma me papa se wan hwe ne yi a obetimi enya kidney problem na me ka bia be se de bia da se ye kasa na wo fa wo phone ene wo pe na wa your personal research wonso nya suahunu yetena han manya botimuka de ka bia no ya de suahunu ne yesuahunu se uyo obi a watafa painkiller bebreba down come bebetimi enya kidney problem enu ti entwema ne nyansa kopa victory garlic mixture wonti ni mo etwetwe odi ni nyina bebewe na so nya pomodin mapa uyo obi a wo asthma fo nyina entie me ko mese wo asthma Copedro victory garlic mixture sasa wo no na oso emwa osa kwan no eso edrowe adanse ankofo de nyama ya ne doson eboa my immune system no enya hodene wonya white da wonya gonorrhea wonya syphilis wonya chlamydia enam ya de bia wonya bia wo ba wonya white pedro victory garlic mixture sasa wo no ebe wo hru ni pedro no mu ma wo so apomden esipi na esita misty herba obenya bi Colenac Habe Pharmacy, Ekus Pharmacy, enso ewa Shiama, PFA Pharmacy, Santimantem, and at Tinata Herbal Center, shop will be a Ghana, open the 12 ton, offer numbers now benyae, after maybe a 2 drop Pia Ghana no, would the Udu also per victory garlic mixture, or can they say we knew on my catch and say victory now, Kofu Fro Unsa Ebe Kebi, and then see also Jodia na Emo Pomode NCP Nesita. Prevention is better than cure, and for the Kwane Boyadi. Unuma drowe na hu ni pedwani mu a ye yade kura no na akwa chichi na wo nya tumenya osika na wo de apre wapomodin mapa ene mesrew ha na ne do besi na da sende ye besan so ahia
beda Adeba victory garlic mixture for me de manonum papa me shase no mu agenga no ansa na ye ba osuha enti osunye bi no ma bebo me bi etumi edi nkwa akonkan edi amo we bi edu yen sembre be commercial break ye ko fan krato ba kumienu miensa ye ba you ready any inside politics here better also me basis here
Hi, I'm pleased to introduce to you Cancer Mixture, a herbal mixture for arthritic pain.
Arthritis, it's me. Cancer Mixture, no, Cancer Mixture, no, Cancer Mixture.
Yeruba Biara no drew Morio or arthritis. Cancer Mixture, obey your juma when you put it inside. I'm a pencil new grand. And if you did dinner menu on your map, you for your button, a woman, one menu for. First, baby, I'm from one Sanka, senior Susan, Bonnie Biara, home doctor, and I report to FDA Med Safety App Nodo.
And Katui, FDA App Nodo.
The National Petroleum Authority hereby cautions persons engaged in illicit storage and trading of petroleum products to comply with the regulatory requirements to operate in the downstream petroleum industry. The NPA Act clearly stipulates that no individual shall engage in any commercial activity related to the importation, exportation, re-exportation, shipment, transportation, processing, refining, storage, distribution, marketing, or sale of petroleum products in the downstream industry without first obtaining a license from the NPA board. Failure to secure the necessary license and properly regularize operations will result in confiscation of petroleum products, prosecution under the law, and decommissioning of facility. For more information, contact the National Petroleum Authority on 0302 550 380. You can also visit our head office located at Jolu of the N1 Highway or any of our regional offices.
Oh, Mr. Entry, also, Yaria Titi, be very feepy, now so, Niamun Yonoda, Semicho, no would Ramata, Munushia, a young mama.
Many say, what also time for Hexa capsules, any Hexa mixture, Yanumbom Kutia or Sanubia Mano Anum, and can what on da also Drodi, and one Hexa capsules, any Hexa mixture. And come ninchum. Also, Yakura, a toya funo, any and Sunumu, Etuma, where funo ekikawa, with the one any, was it to me, Emma, where Chako, a bra ready the every. So how I also there, compare Hexa capsules, any Hexa mixture, Manum Bum, now who ever told. Pedu Tua, for Okanshi Drug Lane, Kumasi Dani Hebal, Takradi A.A. Mensa, Anafre 020-3822-855. Appeal for about Tanya Wama on more from the four, any more flower when you feed me, no encounter. Haxa capsules, and in a mixture. Also, time for FDA Aji Edwedi and Kratui Atom.
Hi. Now let me tell you about Safari Valley Eco Resort, the first of its kind in West Africa. Upon your arrival, you are introduced to a butler who plans your itinerary.
We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park.
So many activities, all in the same premises. Visit the gym or the stables, they have it all. At my break, I'm able to practice my putting.
We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife and how to interact with them.
They used only electric vehicles here. This creates a serene environment. I'm told it's over 1,000 acres. My cabin here sits on 2 acres with a large terrace space overlooking my private swimming pool. Now this is royalty. They have their own farms, thousands of fruit trees. I can also have my lunch here at the waterfall. Quite a beautiful place you have here.
Visit Safari Valley Eco Resort in Ghana, bringing you closer to nature.
Obrebo eye ejumada. Ebwa eyam eduane. Ebwa eyi insa free ni peduane. Na ebwa woni pedua ma etena ho yi. Nanso, woni say niema a yedi na yenom. Timi ma brebo ye ejumaden sen pote.
Mehunda. Me brebo ye juma pa. E bia se me tumi ye bibi bo me brebo.
Ani, and wanting about the lift here from the Moses Clinic, we have our center about herbal food supplements. We see the barber, ama e ye juma ye.
Mama, ye juma.
Fatopa ye no, anopani anyway. Na eboma brebo ye juma ye. Seni beya, e betimi anyam aduane awodi, e siesie ni peduane mo, e yi mo finsi.
Eno na me brebo kia pa.
Ubenya Lift Kit or pharmacy, herbal shops ne supermarkets a ɛbɛn hɔ sɛ wopɛ dodoɔ so to a frɛ 0244 06 8447 Lifekit boa wo brɛboɔ boa wo nipadua ɛduro yi ɛnyɛ ma apemfo ɛma ɛma ɔmomanfoɔ ne mmɔfra a wɔnya mfie dumien FDA agye dwadie krato yi atum.
The serene environment fits into the goal of the school, which is simply to provide excellent educational foundation for your ward's development before they commence primary education. At first glance, clearly you will see why the school is called Hebron Hills International School, as the building stands tall overlooking town. With a Montessori style, we have experienced and dedicated staff and trained teachers. Our small sizes classrooms are meant to enhance teacher-focused approach where children get one-on-one attention from the teacher. Hello there. We are open at 7:30 a.m. and school closes at 2:30 p.m. After school care is from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. while early drop-off can be arranged at 6 a.m. Hebron Hills International School is located at Midye off the Nsawam Road. Locate us with GP postcode GW0688 Ga West and GPS code 06884870. You can contact the school and make further inquiries on 050-876-2375 or call the office directly on 0302-918768. Email us at hebronhills.school@gmail.com. Hebron Hills International School. Excel and shine.
Mesamo akwa babio Melba TV XYZ so baby awa wo hwe bia kai say you will free to air digital so so na okosa light multi TV digibox no so ubetumi ahwe wo so muso abuti power 97.9 FM so yamama kwaba His Excellency John Dramani Mahama kopi mo France obi man so abra Paris a peace forum ekoso ho na ensemble brinana odi atudwan according to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama no os information integrity not mere a media concern but a matter of national security, economic stability and a democratic survival. Young Courtney Nkoti in some of the two wo Paris a peace forum nasi.
We've confronted one of the defining challenges of our time, and that is how to defend truth and sustain trust in an era where disinformation, manipulation, and technological disruption threaten the very foundation of our democracies itself. This gathering has reaffirmed the profound truth that information integrity is not merely a media concern. It is a matter of national security, economic stability, and democratic survival. We've heard powerful voices reminding us that access to reliable, verified information is a fundamental human right and a prerequisite for peace, justice, and sustainable development. This conference has talked not only about tangible outcomes have emerged, including the endorsement of the Paris Declaration on Multilateral Action for Information Integrity and Independent Media, reaffirming our collective commitment to free, independent, and pluralistic information ecosystems. It has also endorsed renewed political and financial commitments to replenish the International Fund for Public Interest Media, targeting €130 million between 2026 and 2028 to support independent journalism worldwide. The establishment of a consultative committee to enhance coordination among states, civil society, and the Forum for Information and Democracy, and also, above all, a shared understanding that the defense of truth must now be a sustained and collective endeavor, transcending national and institutional boundaries. I'm pleased to announce that Ghana has formally decided to assume full membership of the Partnership for Information and Democracy. This decision has been officially communicated through the appropriate diplomatic channels, affirming Ghana's unwavering commitment to the principles of transparency, accountability, and open governance. Our landmark decision sends a clear message to the international community that Ghana remains steadfast in advancing the frontiers of freedom, upholding the rule of law, and serving as a nation that promotes democracy and good governance. In addition, I'm proud to declare that Ghana will become the first African country to make a financial contribution to the International Fund for Public Interest Media. This gesture reflects our conviction that independent journalism and reliable information are indispensable public goods. The time has come for all of us to translate our shared ideals into tangible action, to demonstrate genuine commitment to supporting public interest media and safeguarding the integrity of information. Together, we must work to win the global war against misinformation and disinformation. We leave this conference reminded that disinformation is not an abstract issue. It is shaping elections, it distorts public health response, it fuels conflicts, and undermines the fight against climate change. A decade after the Paris Accord, falsehood continues to erode public confidence in science and policy. If we are to build a sustainable planet, we must also make an informed public. Likewise, the dawn of artificial intelligence has transformed the information landscape. While AI offers immense opportunities for innovation, it also amplifies the risk of misinformation and economic disruption. Deep fakes, synthetic media, and algorithmic manipulation are reshaping what our societies perceive to be the truth. Our collective task must therefore be to harness AI responsibly, to promote transparency, and to ensure that technological progress strengthens rather than undermines public trust. As we close, let us be clear. Independent journalism is not a luxury, it is a public good. When journalists can hold their governments accountable, societies flourish. When truth is defended, peace is preserved. And when citizens can access reliable information, democracy endures. So the message from this conference is unmistakable, that the world must invest in truth as deliberately as it invests in infrastructure, in energy or defense. The cost of inaction will be far greater than the cost of those commitments. And so finally, let us leave Paris with a renewed determination to support journalists and institutions that stand for integrity and accountability, to demand transparency and ethical responsibility from digital and AI platforms, and strengthen international cooperation to protect information as a shared global asset. In the words of the late Nelson Mandela, a critical, independent, and investigative press is the lifeblood of any democracy. That conviction must guide us as we translate the outcomes of this conference into lasting global action.
It is Excellency John Dramani Mahama Paris Peace Forum course 2025 Hong Kong no also odi atudwano nti yebeto adwumadi no so make send guest or move ya ha honorable Daniel Kwesi Ashamai or former member of parliament de Mabuem ono so na oye Penia oda complementary education agency ano nka from non-formal yebetenenka saso ne bete Kasim Isa Sonka. Kasim Isa a member of the NDC communication team ekuku da mienu na ye no mo bedi dwuma but ansa na bedi dwuma na yare a friend also akanfo ye kan ayemkro hadwene menye bida but nipa be miense bi ombo ben mi a omanye bia omakamu asema hadwene ye pa nipa mienu na Madina omadi ho adanse enye seyese mesofo hwenti enye ade a meditro nipa mienu na aka ho asem se also na eba enye kra Madina New Road kache me enso munya modru bi Haxa mixture ne capsules no nyame adom eyepa nti memesumi de ho adanse ansana Dr. Mike Bakasan ukodwa manswa herbal center bia na se herbal ni pharmacies ahuru bia ukwa shops na kase ope Haxa capsules ni Haxa mixture ka se ye numbum no be hu se ayem krona ama yetua wonani bia wontumi ndi no odia obetumi 80 na wedi bi mtenumbi na bibia ntumi nkonkan Haxa ni bo adwuma adansi die nso babre na ba na eba
it's a crowd abroso na yɛda TVXY Z4 Swaz
aboso de any ever fire ever school junction
I'm clear but what over to yanko but I was able to for my fan check see emro wa o hwe bibia na kinu na kra de me say me bre obi adwuma me paucho wa wo hwe me wa wo tie me ene me ma wadwuma preko pe wai me ma wadwuma preko pe anya de bia na ebeba na yabeton waduro be na de yebeton so mesenya ma wadwuma adwuma me de ma on say so wo sika kakra bia wa ho fa hye eye haxamisha ene ne capsules ne ton mu why aduro pa ne ton ho na se na ewiase nyina age haxamisha ne capsules atum a se aduro no enkrofo bisa na obefa yesi ashort obefa na yesi ashort a se no production aso ti ayehia se no masen atu obegum no anu ayedene enu ti bomodian say so wo sika kekere bi ebia wo de wo pharmacy ebia wo ye pharmaceutical shop ebia wo ye herbal shop bia tonton dro de dawa me patro frɛ number ne sisi a na yemre obi oba bia wo se bia na dro ne ensoto adro ne ensoto crowd go shop mu an me patro enya de ebe keep sika na wo di dwa no dabi wo di be gu ho no na chese enkrofo e fa ko esan se eye dura eye adwuma nkasa adura obi numu a ohunu se we de ensisaye we de eye adwuma wo mabrabom won so wo sika me pa ocho bomode enye bebre bia o de fa number no ne frɛ ne kotu bi na koton ko na kope eye pharmaceutical shop bi anas herbal shop bi obi o maboabo wo table so o de fa ko na ekoton na ye beto e de amount wo nyamfa so puduo e de abobo bra sansa duro no eye dura adupa ne ton ho esaya de anka se nya sese bio ye tumfutura gu ni pani se o to aduro no so aduro ne nya adwuma eye adwuma stomach ulcer ya de eye ya pa ana stomach ulcer we ni pattern esiwa mu 8 e wo stomach ulcer esan enioma ye daily activities ni enioma ye mamu ye didie mu ene sebia hunidie nsɛmntinitambia no aya na emanipa bebre na no enya stomach ulcer enu ntise se pa de ulcer duro ayefen haxamisha ne capsules de me pa wo chow se pa de ensoto enu nti wo pe adwuma bi de musika wuram ama juma na kontem ama ade na wo nya akontem am wo nya wo mfaso no wusika fawura haxamisha ne capsules ni tomu opa kona kope bi kotubi ne fa ko pharmaceutical shop na as herbal shop bi ne kotu famom ye beto ma wangaza no sika na ye de abubu so na ye ba ne say na me pauto ye hack healthcare ye na ye de haxamisha ne capsules e de abro aduro ba ko pa de bia me kase se ne so se esayade ba ko pe esayade ba ko pe e stomach ulcer enu apena esa ensayade bia bio stomach ulcer eni to ko hospital e bia wadamfo bia ka cho se ni ulcer tete no obi kura so timi ka se emi ulcer de menya aduro ni obi kura so timi bisa se enti ulcer e waduro ulcer waduro ulcer stomach ulcer ye funumu kuro ye funumu yawo me pa cho e waduro kona kope haxamisha ne capsules ne nonom e be jai se pains ni every ni paduanum eno eye bonus e de maun na emom no yade na nkasa na asiye betu e de amaun na ye cancer stomach ulcer eno no bi be bisa se dey ni stomach ulcer eye kuro sa na ye pa kire eye kuro na emom ba bia e to wo ni paduanum no eno ana doctor faso edi tudin enti e bia na wo de wutie me radio so a me pa cho de ti number na face si a e bia person ko tubi koton e bia person ko fa bi na wo so no ye den wo ton man faso ba na wo de wo show how far the number na 0240 23 83 10 0240 23 83 10 ana 0203 822855 0203 822855 phenomenon ni sisi ya me no kasa ya de phenomenon ni sisi ya ye adwuma empanifo beje wo so na wo nso so ne ni wadi nkomo afenso so person ko pe bi eto ewo e bia pharmaceutical shop bi anase herbal shop bi ade eno na eda tv na nim no fa phone ni twane se ya na ode akọ okwa o se we bi na me pe haxamisha ne capsules se na me kan me pa che ka ulcer den ni ulcer e kuro na ba bi eto ye no ane ye fa so de ato ne din into oti ye doctors wonya peptic ulcer doctors wonya gastric ulcer na gastritis doctors wonya esophageal ulcer ni nyina ye ulcer eye onipadua ni mu ana eba eni so so cast when your peptic ulcer the person change nyina ne say ekuro na eba ya na aba beto nsuru nkutu anim ana ba ko aye kuro no asen ato ye funu nim so cast when your gastric ulcer na gastritis na person chere say ekuro na ba beto ye funu nim bia wudidi ekogu no so cast when your esophageal ulcer na chere say wumini mu me pa chodro be na duani form ekoto ye mu na ho ne kuro na ba beto eno ne ulcer na mom no ulcer de na aduro eye ba ko pe eye hexamethasone capsules aduro we esayade ba ko pe na eno no bi bisa se na me dey eba no simple na me de minya ulcer tie me pacho ulcer fa akwan hodo bebre su na ye den eba na sentem a ko wo su mu ya sabie wu pie ye na nka wo su nya semna enu nsuo de hohoro nsa na sabie o enka kawa bi akeka wonsa wonfa wani hunu ne ye den etimi ko ansa na wo de ato aduanim want me anya ne sentene me pacho de to aduanim a wo de kon wanom na me pacho emo wo boni de from H pylori omudin de de na so munya kwan bobro ni paduanim a oye na omde bro na no odene enu to do sa to aduanim a de kon wanom na me pacho samo woni bebia akotena wo yam obi susu wo no aduane a wo di ne me pacho enye hye eni nti abuo bi atimi begina aduane ne so wo be ba no bo se mo no matutuko e ba ne sa no mo begina aso no mutuko e no mo de agapade boni bi agu aduane ni ma from H pylori e mo wo mo de stomach ulcer eba eni nti wo di ya na e mo yi bi akotena wo yam o ma kokoduru yam awie no ade sa na o mo to no ma be bebre onipa bia wo sori awo ne wo pa wo bedi awia anopani anwumre emo wensusu de omo paye wo stomach line no wo stomach ne nkataso no yefuru ne nkataso no emu na omudidi enu nto omudidi mu no de kuro ababa beto honom de tosum ye no mepa ocho akonia badie obisori anopa onkoduru fie ne na de asa me se wo bre wo ho na wo ha wo bebrebe ne nyina no ye wo hormones bi wo ha release ya fe no cortisol a ebo ma stomach acid ne be ye bebre tensania nipadua ne ehia wo nipadua nim enu nti na pane sana bonsi enya kwan abo ede awura eye stomach line ne so na ede ohaw ne oye ne ekuro aba betu ni paduanim bomodia ne kope hexamethasone capsules aduro ba ko a ye nom ede sayade ba ko pe anase ede pamo yade ba ko pa eye stomach ulcer aduro we onum a me se wona wo so ulcer ba wo yefunu ye wo ya wo yefunu keka wo hu ya wo nya wo ho a se pains ne be kono nya num aduro na within 3 minutes o se pains ne yira ni aka no na fe ato ne boase apamo yade ne afuru ni paduanim enu nti na sentem wo se wo didi ama ko wo mu pe wudi pa anase wo yefunu ne eye wo ya na sentem wo se ade che wo yam anase wo nidi ya na obo se wo yefunu ne eye wo ya obo wo kura so aduane to ne yam na ye de ne yefunu ne eye ne ya me pa ocho ni nyina no eye ulcer signs and symptoms ne bi ma me fa bi ntoa so ma obo wo no mu symptoms a wonya ne se ne bo no tokuro ye da hanum sei no emutimi tutu no eye ne ya se ya na chese etimi kura bofo na ni so na ni so ye no wisi ya chese ot wonu no so no anso ade mu a obetwa hwe sisi ya me pa ocho ulcer de betimi aye wo no ulcer na ye won hwe ya beka se obi na ato waduro ulcer na ye won hwe ya obeka se sebi obi edwa fa baabi ulcer ebetimi yakumo enne me chese stomach ulcer ya de boni ebetimi yakumo na asidan kan rade se hexamethasone capsules wo se bedi akaginamu bomodi na frɛ ne pebito why pharmaceutical shop anas herbal shop bia wuramu a obenya hexamethasone capsules me pacho bonya migraine utifan etimi dwa wo san stomach ulcer ntia me pacho kona kope hexamethasone capsules obu a wo se ni nipadua ne mpono efatimi sisone te se de sabio ya soja ade ato ni nipadua ne efa no me pacho stomach ulcer betimi aye wo sa o senti aduane simonum say na so say be ya obeti bi yedi oboni say reluctant to eat and as a loss of appetite untibi no why den wedi kona kope hexamethasone capsules ne nonom o senti atena wo so ache aduane nya to wonum anu afini nyina ba abonten o fia ba abonten ne me pa chowo enuanu no na bo aduane nim na nka wo se asisa o ma ye fine to bom kama no eno na ase ya bese no obehe no ebe kakra no fon na wo fon wo so tia na eti wo check weight ne ade nchi abeti obesa check weight na me pacho also ayede asayate obefo ye kete wan hwe ye na nkofo de yade boni bi na esusu stomach ulcer betimi aye osa kona kope hexamethasone capsules ne nonom ema ho nye de ento why ulcer betimi am wotiri klampan dompai emu atutu part said ye sabio yade ababi ana ebo eba ne sakwa wo kasa kwa untimi ntia modene eba ne sampa wo 19 pound timi fa wo 9 for modene stomach ulcer ya papa busia na dru haxa mesha ne capsules adonta for ye kabom nom ema ulcer edwane free ni paduanim se stomach ulcer atena wo swati ama sabi edwane nya to ye mo ano afe obefe ne susu na moja ewom sabi obeja wo na moja wom uni paduane moja nyina na besia kwa abonten no ebe kakra no boni se wa ya anemic moja ba kokwa ni uni paduanim ye wase wo ko hospital agisi ye ni moja kosibu so na no na mi bisa se wo ye sum ya ye mfa moja ema wa na eno no ye kone sei bomoni aso benya haxa mesha ne capsules no no number no 0240 23 8310 0240 238310 and 0203 822855 0203 822855 me person obi anse no so no hunu say stomach ulcer chewu ni padua mu amepawcho ni complications amepawcho obetimi anya no odem pa no obeni si ye fa de bi perforation na de person o chiri na say monsuno nketuo ni mu mepawcho emwo no abo awura mu ebo ni mu ntokuro omo boni mu ntokuro nta be kakra no bo he agise ye de ko hospital ni etwitwa ba bia enso na say no na de aka ne join bomode amepawcho emane nyansa no akase mi hu yanka clinical haxa mesha capsules adwuma enu nti sese no adwuma ba bomodi afa usika yeden efa wuram kutu na ton na ye beto amamfa so na yeden no problem sese kwa de jeso una dudu ho no ma ne ye fumo una dudu ho no ma ne ye fum bomodi ya babia wo bia no the number ni bi na free mo clinical 0240 23 8310 0240 238310 and 0203 822855 0203 822855 maminka haxa mesha capsules na je me so ulcer etamfo
Osa atamfo ampa enti haxa pebina bobo your capsules na ewo a mixture opebi boba ebetumi aboa ma bibia etumi akonkan na bibia adedin ediamo na enche ebeti honorable Daniel Kosi Ashama nka ebeti eni akasimisa enka na ene minority amo parliament so akatre His Excellency John Dramani Mahama say brim central MC owo ade a involving who galamsey mu yi papa enti ebeya His Excellency John Dramani Mahama onye bibi mfa ho so obeyi papa no edia onye nedi ye friend no Solomon Kusi Braku ade a ode ne ho ahye galam say mu yi pa wo Brim Central ho nti yenkatie nsema minority ne duturia say ye wono aso na ne edi sem ye wi a na ede ato aso na ekukuda ma dinkonya na ya delve into issues a egubamba no so yentie minority and edi sem mu duturia no.
Minority caucus in Parliament is scandalized by the admission of the Municipal Chief Executive of the Brim Central Municipality, Solomon Kusi Braku, that illegal miners were fined various sums of money for illegally mining in the Achimodan environs and released to continue their illegal activities. This was after some of these illegal miners who described themselves as NDC branch executives had cause to complain because the same MC who took monies from them directed the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, NAMOS, to their site to burn their equipment. We are asking the President to take charge of the activities in the Achim Oda municipality or constituency, that this same municipal chief executive has become extremely arrogant and has now taken upon himself the activities of NAMOS. The MC's actions and presentation of the original receipt suggest an attempt to cover up alleged extortion. The fact that the original receipt was still in the booklet despite allegedly being issued a month prior to the press conference further supports the notion that the MC is trying to fabricate evidence. It appears that no receipt was actually issued to the payer or the payers as we have been told, or as emphasized by one of the miners, and the MC's explanation is inconsistent with standard receipt issuance and practices. Today, Our press conference here is to ask His Excellency, the President, to call this municipal chief executive to order. If the President genuinely wants to fight Galamsey, the MC is just doing the opposite of what the President intends, if at all.
Now, the agenda and a member of parliament who are less than a question pushy. And then answer intel from one of the minority members of parliament say the Andra is a bit to me. And the Andra me who press conference no honestly now again because me very desperate say obe paint in the black. I said on a answer me MP the bema central for no nima seminimu ye. And the Andra obe who say initially no again say can and yama receipts. By later no obe who say yama of receipts no afide or danena no say Argentina illegal miners, yeah, fine no more. But the truth of the matter is, some miners I come as a Ghana Consolidated Diamonds, GCD, and I extra on one customer as miners, and say, almost with you. GCD for us, so be GCD for another massage, will be so, will be yes, with you, ma. And on in Chelsea and California, are illegal miners at the BA Kamas and Galamsey, not just on what could have free a buyer institution or buyer some I can say. After say what could you conversation and free Ghana Consolidated Diamonds or no. And so we have business operating permit. If we assembly no one stand our say I will do that business operating permit no say any pay omo into me and I say omo and answer na omo kose omo adwuma na say enu nti no omo from assembly nimra eno na ye fine ho na ye bank statement ye receipt e ma bibia di adanse say enye sebi ademudel ubi akopode but nipa o pese o say o de ono abefa akonia say nyina so say obefa but I think say the good people of Ghana any nipa omo atem odam abato mpeso aso omo ni miye no omo hu bebi asem ni nyina efriba and enye mining ega eseye abanda da ni siye MPP4 gold administration, normally a private company, because I'm managing Ghana for 10 good years. Maybe I am a MC, I'm a company who is sole proprietors. You register a company and have a sole proprietorship. But in contract, you will be assigned as a managing director. In Sebe, young school by who said Brunina Mwayu. You need a sole proprietorship, any managing director. In Ghana home Tokana. And all the other mining sense, but as long as I remain the MC here, my company be a fraudulent documents, and member that's what they can say in central market. I buy another on the book 420 billion Ghana cedi, 42 million Ghana cedi. Yes, I'm the Davis. Me, I'm a trucker about Simu, identity one more, Sasimo. Before now, I say, Omo press conference, no. It was any part of my some press conference, or MP, only MP before Nana, or a Dom Kumani. And the mature, I call land, the chief of staff for ISPN, and the records, since I assume office as the MC, the kind of operations I here to combat illegal mining. Yes, sit and find machines. And then was make for mobile this answer moving by it tells you the commitment and when it comes to the issue of illegal mining because they be as my can say or down Kumu Hani ya woman Hani at me and I'm a mouse so be Kumu Hayano but in Senate and I was saying conform say and say any to not the crown so to be the who man not just a meeting for Bonini beginning papa and will be our me be so by catch you say ever since I'm a MC, so the baby a baller over 15 years. In the part now, the Macoy ball and everywhere, and collect the Sab Biano so agro ball. The people air bomb about to say me, Yumande, Nana, I in semi way in Kumohano over 28 years. On my hand, Sabi Nanko for the breed, and then the woman, so many of my hand, Abu my clean up exercise, Emma, money in our man. To be among my in the Afata, who my normal way, I think Kabumusum Koni and it about. And would be now.
NTMC the ma Brim Central Solomon ɛyɛ kusi brako na yɛte ɔno so ne rebata na ne respond asɛm a minority ndi betu dwa na ɔno so ɛkyerem na ɔkyerɛ sɛ ɛyɛ ne MP ɔno ne wɔ hɔ na hɔ na na ɔyɛ saa deɛ no ɔdi tia no nti ɛno ɛso na yɛhu ne saa no na ameka sɛ kukudam na agye nkonya atena so na mede kan ne honorable Daniel Kwesi Ashama, former member of parliament ɛde ma ɛyɛ buem in the Oti region, now the managing director de ma ɛyɛ complementary education agency acting executive director.
GTech from the
auntie, okay. No way to GTech room there. It's in a positive there. The assembly. You, auntie, the acting executive director, the ma a complementary education agency. Oha. So na yenu Kasim is also a member, the ma NDC communication team. Bibi Koso and Ra. Ewo enkran krodwe mu anse be hye discussion as me pese me mpedifo bedi ho komo kakra mobile boami production na yakohwe military officer ye friend no W1 William Mensah andra asemi na ne se andra bema camp ya no suma akola ba ko ho so nko pharmacy na ho no nkoto edrum bre no enti o se edrum no nim se 25 cedis enti akola no buy no say 65 cedi nurse ahane 65 cedi say but o say hu say indro ne your brand sometimes brand be your the same paracetamol but obo say yes we dey if Britain if UK ntina boarding enti nurse no nti ase enti akola no di eche no no call him so nimsa afra na atwa no no wuwe mu to call no ka che guy ne say edro na 25 cedi na de bia meton ohun 25 cedi na kwa ne say no aha pharmacy bia okobia we de edro code ba yenje no mka chense sa de yenje edro no no say aha ne hin no call pharmacy attendant no she share ni blue na lady no so no customer na no so to ade no ye say police officer penifo ni bi baba soldier peniba na ono so okoi so to na ade a me ma lady no so kan ye ema W1 William Mensah ono so to share sister no so odin blow okoye enti say e viral pa we call online and obi edi ma kotene mesi no your friend W1 William Mensah enti pharmacy attendant na owo monsa repeat one mami na yensan hwe hon iwia how military police so kwache manko na chi kakra how obowra ho no enti say lady no so kan baby oyese nti otwa no no kan bibi na mo di lady no so blow no akwa ne so onje ye wode kwa ye nsanji nti wode abadia enya de ye na bodi eno na wanti ase lady so de na ne tu mu a oye so jo otwa no no ye so obono no so di ni blow na osan okọ ono so no nti ono no ba lady no so se oye we na odi ni blow si na so no nti wo hwe a eno no obo na so no san kọ boy no so lady nankasa na chese ma W1 nankasa ni penny so je ni penny ba ono so ba ho na ono so ye nti lady so ye so no call guy no so no ko di guy no so blower eno so ayasem the guy no so fre pharmacy ni ra we na be ma campo pharmacy e wo ho no ono we si na so no no go so bon no bobon nti we ya de Andrea course wo pharmacy e wo be ma camp did bae meba cho mama yenhwe hawa military police so ko arresting na pay woni fie nti yenhwe baras wono no so obehwa nti ono ne down na yakwa arresting na yene ne ba mofo military police car no nti ono yakofa na obefa car no no wahye no nti ono na yamo na okohye military police car mu na ugina ho no nti ma abana no W1 ma William Mensah no so wa nti ono ohye ne uniform a ogina ho aye mu na akono nti ma abana no say asem no bebre ne hu but enchiemu no enim but enchiemu no na mede ama wono a no so make say military police akofa no nti ono na yebe hu ohye ne uniform okura ne cha wafo no bole wakoshe mu we di bole pa o friend so je ni bole wakoshe ka ni ma ye ne de kono enti asem no make se no ye ni bedi achi me be si bi ase be frem na ana se ye mfensie mu ye be ka ho asem anu na so mahu enti bole na ya be fa bole ne kono Dear no. Yambra studio say na ekokuda mo hambre no ko ye nsikwe mu na ye ndin komo. Honorable akwa bio.
Yeah, jam.
Bibi aboko de.
Bibi ade boko.
E na de o de form fireman fa.
Oh, awehwa kai best.
Awehwa kan.
No, sir.
Ye ma me kunedu ana.
E na we susu.
E pese o kan we ma seman say abasa.
Sa ne ma no me pese me.
Mo hu ye de na o ka fa ho.
No.
E si obema campendra.
Yes, but I took consolation in the fact that matching on
the piano.
Senka jai papa we say nanka nyekra. And every military person also say
to be disciplined.
Yes. Yes. And now pharmacy rususu Bema camp. Why do you do this?
I said do almost 25 cities.
You see, as a
65.
Nicholas, as I investigate time I employ. I am telling you. You see, we need people who say, catch us say, for qualification brand, some I employ. These are some of the reasons. I just say, Ura was say, Senya Tobuba on him say, and there are different brands. And different brands comes with different prices. Only into Nunu Nyoto, there be 25 cities.
There be talking.
Yes, and no. Into Eba said, there be auto 25. No. And Muko in 25 the answer. My daughter is a pharmacist. Inti mihu sadia a hadwin enye me bank wanti.
Okay.
But because ta educate me wo fie. Or see adru we ya ma trauma or hospital no. You were the other side. Local and foreign.
Foreign, okay.
And the prices no different. It is not audio educate me. Into we no education. When tina yeka say one branch yeka chon say ko school kakra nsa na yefa soja no ebi ni o esesenya nka soja fo mbambe publishing educational qualification e ho na ebeti ase
no omo cross check ehwe bibi
me say e ho na obeti ase se be papa we nam ho no omo piano guma as a party boy oni krata these are some of the things that we be seeing who is obi away university or military baby you not do it. Even secondary school, we are on yes say. Say, we secondary school and not training college and now Bibia. Now we say, Ebian crow or nipa be with them hono and now our problem be with one person. These are some of the traces that you can follow to know the reason why this person acted like that. Other than that, you say be our fat ruby. We say red ni tramon no enye no mu abontin kwa na efa. And that these are some of the things. Frustration.
I can say be an
frustration. You deform my mouth. Say uko soja, udi Americana uko. There na frustration. Tama me teacher no. And I could say ya ketu andosu.
W one form with discipline.
Nicholas day. And I say ya ketu andosu. Ya ketu andosu. And the headmaster beside say na mo adwuma bebrebe a wo Ghana. Mo hu bia ni teacher. Afe wako fa form wangaza ko fa form wako training wapo afe be catch am say sika ndoso menya odie. These are some of the things in this worker frustration sema na djuma ni nyina wo Ghana dey need frustration so jani ayetua e ka no twemienu bia ayetua ka na teacher ni kura ayetua no ka 30 days who yetua 15 days what is your frustration? I'll bet to be a catch say me fasa frustration say no kura back e wo mum. It could happen. Say frustration no na no. Sani banu yen yo mo. See the pressure be.
E bia na.
Me say pressure be.
Men kan say.
Ghana krom be bia koso ye. Ndra kra ya celebrate. Ya celebrate 60 years for Ghana City and I want it. What pressure be na okro. Abraba eduane aba ana eduane ni kuro
onu ana ni suban ye
obi no so na mo ni kwadro omu impe ampe brefo so onya post bi so oni how to manage yourself. You see, when you get employment you must manage yourself. Nipa dasani onam you must. If you couldn't manage yourself you'll be seeing this type of things. You must manage yourself. Obi no mo ho osu wa kra ontumi impe onu ankaza na no mo eduane o. You know that omu ni nam kromo pacho o. Na no mediani Nicholas Ukaitama me wo position in the house no me say me who say me ni aduane na ma come krom na ma kodo banchi
they be also
na ma door bro. So these are some of the things we must learn to manage ourselves and our temples. Nyawoye die enye fe mi na susu kaka wa
kasi mi sa ma mi tie wa wo soja fana fo pa
ah sa wa o jia ya no episode to be ban ni aduane some people could not feed their mouth
organize the logic aname boa that's what we are practicing now.
What does that mean? One eighty.
We are like quite a soldier for the dinner. The pharmacy be going and who want to send for you?
In fact, I made sure a video no and my mirror here because I was like, what's a now or share mufti? So I'm who say see soldier, you know, I didn't believe it until today because meaning say, like you said. Bema camp there almost every week be I call Bema camp there 2 times. So minim wadan for soldier for nuanum soldier for, and I know say they are the soldier or the army professional kasan the most disciplined professional ye you who mo into one so be dim kwasa se be wa bontin kura soldier ni ba hope na ko ba bia ye kan enye se bibia it is the discipline na yen nim wa mo ho no Emintina Emma because soldier ni ono de on pese obi sisi wo on pese sisi de no so me wan say soldier ni will go into this array in this manner on this issue 65 Ghana cedis inti sebi hwe wa beti abayu akito original na wo bon pine ma get no kwat of oh I mean on what grounds just say honorable Kaino me want say it is either he was on something or certain things were not going on well. You can't just Bema camp so there. Every shop I work within Bema camp is linked to a soldier man. So at least I say soldier ni be bad there, and now soldier ni be there, and now opinion be there, and every human being you see within Bema camp, you should know say our link to a soldier man and something. So you don't behave like this in the Wakofa ladder. This man completely on make sure say on human being on correct soldier and like just an honorable now the matter require educational qualification. I'm for matter
colleagues na we push you say man back correct.
You don't do this. You know I'm happy say the military police has arrested him and I make can say omuni di asem in the military
na ye na abeso no mu na na
me say obon we yesebeka say in a few minutes later no go be do sesia enye
police for confirm
afi okopacho
and shy and wine
and the boss no commanding say go and sit in the car you don't do this.
I'm saying wife me nimo there but say madam
enye ni wife
so
oban so be so jeni on
so there be oban no be Idas no
na make us be na
oba
na baba akwa abeso no mu na osane ni pie ye ntumi ntre de but oba na bisa asem no mu obeso no mu na obo ne nsane ade
yo and you do this under a president like John Mahama and you think you go scot no you already say brother Jemfi as deputy defense minister and you do this and you think you go scot no so I'm happy interdiction omuni ni bia omufani police so that the police will continue with the assault aspect of the issue we assaulting Crawford no we damage we cause harm we say on Crawford niama in the shop and outright I know this guy he will lose his job because this man is not fit to be a police soldier man. You can imagine say uncle side arm be one ho obi what temperament problem
you pull the trigger
you can't a military man you train to the extent say even when civilian is even pushing you are the last person to throw your hand. Yes. Commander no the unit commander no on na yesuma say on be chinomra
so omunya aboche na on kotina ka
yeah you don't you say so and the army even honorable can be me believe in say army no hwe obi agwan ko school kura no when you go through their training you should have
ɛsɛ uhu edwuma no obi won no man go school but o man go school in do echire SS o man JB SS o me trade na be mu but they won't behave like this no because when the training goes through you I mean me ma call military training basic military training for a lot ma call Asutuare 3 times ma call Shah Hills 2 times 64 ma call 2 times for some short military courses so I know how when you go through them Uba bonti na civilian age me sebia you just look at him and you go your way.
Yeah, call your name. Okay. I'm for happy birthday Infirma Constance. Constance Seidu at Jubilee House. Today happens to be your birthday. So happy birthday Constance Seidu at Jubilee House. Happy birthday. Honorable you're about Fourth Republic, your first lady, our boy Juma. Your name legacy 31st December daycare ne ye ma woman empowerment dream bring ma mo ye machine say dey pam oil ne gari money ade first be hu krase and you be aye ma me Kunedu Ajima Rollins say sha wa late ka crowd be kai
Nicholas me dear I am a product of Nana Kunedu Ajima Rollins 31st December Women's Movement. Me Obama, but I am a product of her project.
Wow.
And so many years now I've been praying, saying on radio stations, on Sambra NDC Platinum. Because onuni ye Papa Rollins, on my Obramo boy, a Kenya Ghana, a Shepu Ghana. To a very appreciable level, acceptable level in the communities of nations. Ni Penasempa. In some about Onuni NDC party, yes, I've always been appealing to her through the social media. And I remember this, we call 2015 you call elections, NDC elections, Ewo Kumasi. That was when Honorable Kofi Adams became the national organizer.
Okay.
Inti ofre Kofi se Kofi bra. Kofi bae ansana yetu abamanu. Osi ko na kofa umami susumbra. Listen to this very well. Because now Honorable Kofi Adams na oka Yemami Kunedu Ajima Rollins ni NDP or what was the name of that? Say Fonka ne so okay. Also Uncle Fanny Mami bra. And from that time I was wishing say Unko Nyankupo Omwa. Ansana na no ye da sorry ya ntiasempa. Yemabusafo ni nyina yakọ. Any ne ma because Niente America say I'm a product of 31st December and he said my papa we were in 1982. And you know 31st December no started from 1981. And yes sir. Time I run is by late president by. Inti wabe programs are all kind wa launch bebre and I side one na 31st December Women Rice Growers Association. And through this association a women's group army anti edienim oma my tractor and I had dofum intinu the tractor will help to plow the land and all that. So I was in the mud for 10 years, not alone with our family people. Inti usa kofie juma bebe ati se Nezrini kindergarten wa build women's banking onususu edienim Beijing conference enye na meka na meka ni say me busafo yako. And I could remember very well time I make parliament, you know. I was keeping all their family pictures. Say, okay, time I moved down to and honorable Zenato, everybody. And I catch and say, me were on family pictures. So I've been following them. And so I say, sir, and so the following day I'll bring you one of the pictures. I'm paying me the picture no command. So I'll show me me Daniel Kusesha. I love the family. They have shaped not only their family but the whole nation. The Fourth Republic, it is the behavior of Nana, His Excellency late President Rollins, and Nana Konedu, the way no man nature munkoda so. Look at their kids. Say they are not people who are so greedy me pay way. Yenti omu noise bia. Nipa bombody senka omu noise de bia no na di platform and ID 2 years. But they manage themselves. Compare them to be about 8 years or the car contract, ambulance contract, the money back no ni winning na and sumunam na ajapadiana no mubabe peja. If this family were to behave like this, in Gaya baby I want
no,
not at all. May her soul rest in peace.
As a Michael Kasim ho we fi Mugabe Masi ho or say happy birthday in Koma nyamiye Kweku Frimpong tete uskulu wo First Baptist Church School Ewotema we happy birthday if wo papa Mugabe Adam for say en Komonti nyamiye Kweku Frimpong tete uko school First Baptist Church school ewo tema yemo happy birthday saso na we sufi ukun wo Mr. Samuel Yeboa en Koma W2 Yeboa Diner we supply wing or Air Force Base wa Accra ha nti W2 Diner Yeboa yemo happy birthday supply wing Air Force Base Accra happy birthday and come officer my member also Kasimisa
yo say mbema Busiano Yako na me ma NDC for na Yako
we dey my main country honorable one of the leading members say when NDC more bron halfo yeah papa ba kon or say main country say military officer no ni dumedie na no ye na no suban na character and education it's a character na it's about character not about
nanka say engine
I'm so penine hwe one of the leading members
ebi onim no pa
or some countries and the character mum
and ebi onim no pa
bien ko Kasibisa
na mema
yeah sure
the president of the Republic of Ghana and so Yako any NDC for nyina me so ma follow the Rawlinses in fact me ti asese me nyi no me ti jeje din a they say ya je mama ka kire and growing up so I once say mama so no so politics no a woman organizer so also no can 31st no ni nyama so I also became fond of John Rawlings and
Junior Jesus
ne yire be for me so and this women so it started as women political movement and later ebe NGO on 31st December yeah so mama no you see at a point mama no oni NDC enya that issue you see adia wan kasa wa ye there sometimes you know ube say na me feel say no something because this is your blood I say wow ba yesikun ba you can't no matter what inti say the adeniko ba no de bia na me can say I only pray say mami we Yakupon oni ni kunu nyina Yakupon bejo mo cry shouldn't be under MPP despite whatever has happened say no pejo mama sem so no penasem whatever no pe your mama na no chi no cranium who under your mama and look at the kind of love and the way your mama afa yenu afa like wa fa yenu ama no ho declare state of mourning for 3 days or dispatch chief of staff mu nyina ko honum vice president mu you see sana ese nipa nsehwe this ye ya ne baby amame dai so anka ehun nya se ntokwa se ni sanem onua de so far as political party there me team ni we come there it will come but at the end of the day mu hunu se mu nyina mu wo ekuo ba ko mu nkasa kwa na mu da so ekuo mu kwa enye hwe ba se wo so beti hu and all those things en fire nkosi hwe ma me we bra wo NDC me kai those days are MPP kufo ba foforo court I didn't go I was part of the organizers in Lejokuku na I call no court free Nana Konedu ni happen na Satam Accra High Court de bia basi na time I shown na regional youth organizer na Daniana na as a regional chairman
Mr. Daniel.
Yes, na Haruna Idris na national youth organizer. No organizing. We will go testing quantity to my bus is bear 70. Because
70.
Yes, wow. I am telling you. Let you cook the lab once June 4th starting from testing.
Okay.
So on the branches testing there, the NDC there, never hopper. So a band K. The say the JJ Rollins say ko baby. And now Konedu Ajima Rollins court and the whole Greater Accra. Let you cook a better topic. But Nina was just the love we had for Yamame and JJ Rollins. But like I said, I regret. And I like the way an embargo so on my handle of the way they've carried themselves, even though not problems, friction were on them. But exactly, they play the neutral role. When it's about the NDC work, they do it. If it's about family issue or SSL money on my many nanti, they do it. Sana into bones and colano or more titi colani and Yamin child, you say, oh, Jao Masaya. I mean, me say, I know wherever they are, they will be happy because Nkola my titi colani or more problems. He said, Penny for being ma between ma, but he say, President back or yes, President back or you hardly hear him for Jubilee House. Yes. You hardly hear I mean, you hardly
president back to me for be on we edition the bottom no they are called Jubilee House.
JJ Rollins
tina kwasum yasi san people for say mayan kasa
inti ebusande me momo yako and I believe say ya benya omenya stage barrier na Ghana for nyina for mudim na ye mboa na ye no enye fine because in fact ye bibia magana emma and women in politics in Yamanyama, it is Konedu Ajima Rollins who using herself as an example, and then a lot of NGOs, yes, and
the conference,
child survival development.
By the far side,
yes,
4 p.m. BBC.
Ghana kakena
comes in my
history na yentimi but say Ghana history wo hopa kamamu say yeah statue see baby yeah because a man ma tutu vice president Professor Nana Jane is a president because of Konedu Ajima Rollins because at the point on say we're even a second lady. Look at how not Satana Ghana she, but this woman was courageous. No, yenina beti my
Penny be the middle come say on Kakrati as a phone be more catch him say Nana Kuredu na to me empower me for Mbabe break catch room ma ye share a district assembly elections
yes
assembly women there's a time no share ma be break
yes
chance say ye assembly women wo local mami way assembly woman
and the NGO form here those were the things she was doing
no champion say
also now as part of the NGO now mano how to do bakery how to sew all this are buy trade learning now and this you see modern yes this is say now obre mano we no mo de ho nam no those things only started those things and modern politics you understand so mama no why be and ma to must celebrate her because the woman has really done well.
Honorable Morris Honorable Morris no ADC Edema Manson Quanta also Oshe Yichi Papa Honorable Sasun Honorable Wisdom Buama MC Man Carrier also Oshe Nti MC Akasimi ni Minti Omo
CA4 yes we be call ye mami fie
mbuga ko chiam
na
staff ni na
makachro mo se ombo mo ho na ye ko chiam because Nebani constituency the office no one Nebani constituency into your MP ni mami to bibia esen kocha
yeah connect 3 days
oh my idea
XYZ TD kan kwa kocha enti mami just chairman Sofo Osman Dauda NDC world chairman wo aboso wo call aboso gangway responsible community cooperative mine mo fencheme responsible cooperative mining na community the MPP there no be basano responsible cooperative mining omo ye na aboso a ono na oye penny odano oni niku anase niku chairman na friend Dela Kuda Renal omo na omo hwe aboso gangway ho bichechi amoni modwuma efo ina wo aboso gangway monko so nye responsible cooperative mining kama na bibia entumi enkonkan yeguso a yedidi nkommo na mamenfa eyisi so emfa embrem Mr. Francis Kwashi honorable atosapon ase nyambe adoma next week na honorable na say ye ntimo fento so mame say wo ho Mr. Francis Kwashi osan ye me landlord nti no oye say night brother King Kwashi say night brother Francis Kwashi nti nyame adoma ne yi bekoso Friday a day ni next week Friday adom be pre-burial mass di amano wa our Lady Queen of Peace Catholic Church o Madina Accra free 7 a.m. kosi 10 a.m. na man so na no Lolobi Kumasi in the Oti region Lolobi Kumasi yes I will crow my own Lolobi to crow no Lolobi Kumasi in the Oti region nti on besa kosi pay Friday na next week Friday 9 p.m. on be workkeeping war Lolobi Kumasi Saturday nti on the 7 November no 2025 Saturday November 8 2025 no so ade a omesan so ayema amano in Betumpem was St. Michael Catholic Church Lolobi Kumasi time here 8:30 a.m. na omuria yakope no krabio kama Sunday ne be sign ato so on the 9th of November no 2025 war Thanksgiving mass because was St. Michael Catholic Church Lolobi Kumasi in the Oti region 9 a.m. na akoso kama obo jane tree grandma na my friend when friend grandpa Mrs. Rose Kwashi namba no oja Mercy Akukwashi ono wo Ghana Annabelle Amate wo UK Olivia Kwashi wo Ghana Cynthia Boahin ono so wo UK so na Lena so wo Ghana Catherine Afrema Kwashi wo UK Francis Kwashi Junior wo Canada and sana Mrs. Joyce Sapon honorable atosapon ndidema Agriculture Development Bank former CEO so hadi nasi na edafo binti nyame adma next week there boma yenkojamo mpanifo na bibia entumi enko enkansa ma yenko Mr. Kweku die no so na yemfa entuaso yekwa enimo so a openin Emmanuel Kweku so nyame atonsa afro openin Emmanuel Anthony Kweku no so dodo na afro no amoko no so webu kompo why nyameze see with the passion gold or papa no da from Linti Saturday 15 November 2025 Sokoban Road Abuabo Kese Nana Asiedu Junction 4 p.m. pepe no omonene bet 4 ombele instead 4 p.m. no 4 a.m. on Friday, but I'm say on my mistake kakra or post and so 4 a.m. and Saturday and a potato tomon betumpe area oma aye soma de amanoma kopeno crabio or Sokoban Abuabo Kese Nanasi Duha Junction one on Bay Barrier Service in Amano Omuri on Masantina for Mohana on my ye Amano Sokoban Road or Abuabo Kese Nanasi Edu Junction 12 p.m. Ebusiatina for Sunday no 16th of November Ebekoso Meye Thanksgiving service for Action Chapel International war Ridge Cathedral Kumasi adjacent Noble House 9 a.m. Area Besan Katina form of Sokoban Road Abuabo Kese Nanasi Edu Junction nti metenono Emmanuel Anthony Kweku adodo na freno amoko ono na order for me passion gold a friend Peter Nanasi Edu Kweku passion gold see ododo na freno nana ne papa no order for me nti no so mbre no dura na ye kujano makonta prekope ɔware mechiri banti ɛdeɛ te no nti nyame yɛ adom a next week yɛwɔyi the following week so yɛsan wɔyi nti ebusuafo nyinaa ne adɔfo nyinaa nhyɛ ne nso na yɛnkɔgyam mpanimfoɔ yi yɛbɛda ase ɔnabɔ mesan ba wo so biom yɛnhwɛ Hanan Abdul Wahab ɔno na ɔyɛ former CEO de ma Buffer Stock ɔno ne wife mate sɛ wiare sɛ sɛ wɔnya bail sɛ wɔnya bail ɔntumi meet on nti wɔn ne sɛn because at the time na Buffer Stock yɛtumi te sɛ suppliers akɔda hɔ baby ɔbɛyɛ 1 week na ɔmo da hɔ ɔmo si fufuo na ɔmo de ɔmo mpa na ɔmo kan sa ti ne nyinaa so na anan transfers ka fi ɔmo account sika biara ni hɔ hwɛ moja
Nicola
gofu digane o ko enim
obedien
obetumi de NSS dem so jo no so am so 800 million obetumi meet there
Lucy
o enim
Nicholas who can say because there is no ministry or sector who pursue hunkunta pa MPP for emresu omo mbokro no ho tiakasa. Look at what this gentleman have done to Ghanaian children. Ukaitama SHS for Mukita plate. Omukita plate say a comdiomo. A comdiomo.
Shorted to me CSHS.
It to me as a Janin
shorted.
I could remember one point in time, parents in some of the Cape Coast school, they have to contribute and then buy food for the school. And I'm sure Omudia Neba Media as well. There are some schools that parents were helping because Danado Susua Kokase, my parent be a moi. Listen to this. My parent moi PTA Niho, they say a coca de PA, the teachers in Kanhu. They shouldn't help. Obeshe, meanwhile, we release this kama no more discount. Ghana, I know na account. Asem we cry ehunu sese no se pese yen domu sukopa sika no browe dey na si wo national service secretary so mo ka just 500 and something say we auditor general buy was it 2.2 billion and that is what that is look at what is happening at the ECG one public accounts committee in CMC only power co school year budget year budget no 140 no what's eyebrow expenditure no so that 140 more than 140 140 and the budget and I will say the 148 e dey aka ho now 148 no eye chrono excess expenditure and these are the people who say that they want to lead this nation who TMPP need to be bien and cultural say when it comes to the management of economy they are better than NDC. Look at their records. Hey Nicholas, be cultural next year you are going to see the Auditor General's reporter, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Mresu, what generate Ghana for. Say chrono Nanado Mresu enam in billions of cedis. I am assuring you, say, and do even 100 million. I am telling you, because civil servants will move. So we cannot give that caveat, say, if she really in about civil servants, baby, a musha say, no. And until I make a child to me for ministers, Munina Munti, those who were using scan signatures. One say was scanning signature not to systems. So some of the civil servants no omudisa strategy no edi wiasika unim se no moye omutumi ko print document no and now signature no eda system no so and no ma print no ma track contract no mu dia Ministry of Finance say nya wo na obetua muka no mu dia Ministry of Finance no ma ko discount ho sa nyama no esisi wo ministries. So we should be very careful because near MPP for aye Ghana party dear enye and we will continue to roll on. Honorable Attorney General, I salute you, Dr. Yini. The dear Senkaube Tunia, assembly ye press conference, electricity no ye na ye tua. Tie, e dan ye si hono ye Ghana. Ye press conference na minu ya oye pa one type our village no. Oh who boni MPP for adi. Unya un say people ka say Attorney General oye press conference do. Na kire say ye omu ya say ye omu boni o ma ye no a kire. Minia yenu de dia media senka wo time pa de ana operate another secretariat obe ma ye details update Ti say Musio Mamo be a bill in the yes sir. Now but now why a press conference? Don't mind these MPP people. They cannot catch up to silence. Say now submission say Yenkasa will continue to talk. Na se who can na a trese who 2 years na ye appointee susufo. So one yes sir. Some of our colleagues or myself I can forget. And yes sir. And nuntina enkayentina de bia ye kwa sorry. Muslim folk cry there. Omubuko to do 5 times a day. And yes sir. Enkayentio se no mbebo brapa. And I sorry susu se cry or Jericho hour. And I dear ewia anopa na ye kwa sorry. Adentin officer ye kwa sorry sir. Enkayenunti. Into Attorney General ususu bobrati say sorry for no asofo ni Muslim for no. Debia my update on the MPP for Kronwa. Listen to what is happening. And you have now to say now me catch your cowboy say on shut up. Did you see what the cowboy have done? Ghana for one. Me catch your cowboy say on send it court ni botanu. He should shut up. One word dear. Muhammad Tunyama contract. Amobi Ekipu Ghanaians have data.
Light wave.
Ghanaian have data. Also on maye. Wo cowboy wako school pa respect you. Who to me sign this contract? Who to me sign this contract is a cratchy. One says Mr. Kasematian says so Janin Kayan educational qualification. Share Okoboy a very good one. But Shenyo Shenyo Koboy to me a Ghana for what dear when you're winning na infideni na His Excellency John Dramani Mahama Atogu Ridge Hospital. Musa di ma contract. Who call national lotteries? Your friend Papa was a Nyotina MPP time. Samia Ukusa di ma contract. Intimu demu ya ampe brefo. Mutifie na mwa sableti eduma abai sika oye no. Mwa sableti na mu jihu sika di. Okoboy, misi. Wenye wankasa. Nye wanye press conference awaye nanu. Ani nsema epieba. Enunti na okatu akando se mani cancel contract ni. Etese yebenya judgment day. Se wa utumi ko investi pa mi respect you so much. Contract atom. Wasa atwa akwetiri asa the money panu asa atom wasa atwa akwetiri ama on the 31st December 2024 contract na asanu in there was 2025 nu honorable kando Missy twa contract judgment debt ni yebetua Ghana for the chance wo kobo yebetua be over 70 something million dollars. $77 million okoboy meanwhile nipa na deliver about 40. Look at these people.
50%. $46 million.
Yes, put your 77 million
more than okoboy
say me wa min ka say into just our press conference. Just stop that. Shut up and let us listen. And now Bakubi ni we are or see almost MCB Ghana for Galamsey there ye betran enye essential. His Excellency Obepe ni papa na nya ni papa Australia for beba be boy. Ba nyenye we asini say before be catch us asini see before. Onwanka so ye before o kunipa no sa be catch us asini see before ntikuno. Enu ni MPP for na mu amutumi tina MPP ni ogina ho press conference no onu a cratch no member of parliament otumi tina ho amananado ajai 47 forest reserves munkonko say no wanye press conference misi Galamsey enyo ye best stop nu ba de enyo we wiase ni say before be catch me say ye before nti onu nkume enu ni MPP for ye don't mind them. Samu wanyansa pa na nyansa samu pesemu kire nyansa pa omunkofa kenufure tamra nombe kire obra obo Ghana asase so ansa na wa Ghana fro MPP4 ni ferie senkomu wo ferie press conference komu nye but you see the way they are moving. These are the people that you can never trust because looking for power for what mwanya power ye di mamu no mu ka kire na do say enkofa balance sheet numbra e ka wo jai omanu Inti Ghana for Miss Remwa. What I'm praying for today is for all the appointees of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Let us deliver a very clean Auditor General's report next year. Okay. Now you can compare because Nicholas, I told you that in the year 2028, a dear NDC for the Beko campaign, enye Baumianfo ni ana press conference ana Kennedy Japan sema waka ana na post obema mu t-shirt ato abama mu, but good governance that will share the national cake to the downtrodden, to the sick, and to the strong, the youth of this country. Senya ye chicheno, shenya His Excellency Nanu, to the physically challenged. Almost we call university free untria. And omu grant was had to move by 20 million under the Education Ministry. Honorable my boss, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, right?
But I say, Moses Diagnostic Center, why be papa, more cholesterol profile, Beshamo, full a blood count, postrate, on Beshamo, Sasuna, you now a analysis, blood sugar, and Mekahuinano, on the boa papa, Ashamo, Medimosus Diagnostic Center, Homochakwa Dental Barrier, opposite the police station from 050-3494-885. Power specialist about hospital, Sosabre, a hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E, and sana fatty liver, sciatica, prostrate na how, also compo fibroid hawa, bra, Accra ha, omo ACP Road, Kwabenya, Pukwase, Ehono Behumo, Kumasi Fayase Lake, Busumchi Road, opposite Jesbro Filling Station, Takrade Branch, Anaji Estate, adjacent Anaji MA Primary School, no Subehumo, 0244-544422, na BBN to Winkonkai, Sasuna, Safari Valley Eco Resort, and also Honorable, also Mayor Kohopa, Ewo Okra District. We do our winning Benji papa. Necessu be no. Say, see how they dear. Yes, yes, wo soro go. Maybe wo soro go. Your friend is saying, Atabuade. Why do you mumbo? Martin, don't worry. Young Queen Quadio, one can so be world class accommodation with private swimming pool in Mecca. For reservation from 0596 9143 94 or try about powder PBA, a Divine Hope Herbal Center on the Abedra through Coco Nehau, Obana Bemo CCO, ya sexual weakness, low libido, stroke na dead and how Nina and winning try about powder. And you know, Ghana, I won't say to me, I could be Fred a 0591 a 565 557. Now, winning penny for ending como Casimisa. Thank you.
Okay, at this juncture, no, salute to all Ghanaians. Any or more, to Obama NDC, and no more to for change in the 2024 elections. I don't think America, sir. You can you imagine say anka MPP SN we need bioma hwenema ye uncover ye opposition kwa ye di bebre ba ema ebobi ehu to the extent that they voted massively against the MPP ye ba ye ne ye hu ya in opposition no ebru ne ye hu no it is quadruple of what we saw in opposition, and you can imagine if these people have retained power anka sasika we nyina no because there were auditors, there were sector ministers, there were sector directors, and they watch on. And during the chrono way, of course, and nothing happened to these people. You see, it's high time. Auditors, you see, Bibiana politicians now, then, but these people didn't go and break or put a gun on anybody to facilitate Sanema way. Technocrats and some people, because all your professional accountant be professional. Whoever you are, be professional. Yeah, you want my say minister and another director say Bibia, and I know the way Attorney General Kono, all those people they'll be brought back, they'll be brought to come and account for whatever they did. They can't be left off the hook anytime. Not politicians, no pay. I don't wear course, no. I mean, you can imagine. Say, it's the same way Bisano, Cardinal Mills, Bisano. Why, yes, I never win, and then when you Musolia, Mosamba say, yes, move too light. Mu budget, one casa mu budget. Can you only say budget there all the time? No, say, we only do, this be our own the left and right, and obey budget, obey low budget. Because obey budget, you always do in a higher way, so that plus minus never you can still make it up. So in sensible way, no, budget is always in a high form. than senior identity.
Yes.
Good. So one kasa budget also for foreign training also by you 31 million Ghana cedis. You ended up using 91 million. Also cleaning expenses also 2.8 million. You ended up using 10.4 million. Honorarium expenses also by 3.8. You ended up using 4.6 million. Hotel expenses also by using 9.3 million. You ended up using 12.2 million. Staff 4, budget is 2.8 million. You ended up spending 7.9 million.
Look at them.
Communication expenses, while budget say Uber use 4.2 million. Aban say no problem. Ended up 7.9. And when you area, then you want to come and tell us, say, oh, Baba to light mo. Ghanaians will not. But I thank God, and all these things, Afenyo Markin and Napo were there. They saw all this, but they didn't say anything. In the multi honum, Yabekasa mo can be. National quickly on national service. To the extent say appointees director no name the deputy ni Wankasa. Omo assign omo. Can you imagine say omo deal with omo national service.
Omo ejisan pay.
Boss no so omo national a volunteer. And over 700 and something million Ghana cedis, 1,000 Ghana cedis. And deputy no so a national service ni oyati e na come chrome tamale baby say onko e national
Ghana
na dey all this car
Mamenda Kasim is
member to Ellington Opoku Echiamu nyina
Mamenda Kasim is also a member of the NDC communication team saso na Mamenda honorable Daniel Kwesi Ashaman so Mamenda na say executive director the ma complementary education agency Canone from non-formal me amidi dwumedi ho chiame ye from Nicholas ya osi Olsen which me Afro-American Nicholas mamuswa ohene baboa ma bene okone kwantem kro ho ono a enti o the news papa mo demu hwam o the bread with TV XYZ so power 97.9 FM and radio XYZ so 93.1 koso na TV XYZ tie radio ahunina fi se in the panishra wa haya demo don't forget send there Thursday enti ebo 8 so a gumbe o the bebro bye bye.